So whether you watch this video in one stint or you sit down over 3 1-hour blocks or however you structure it, I want you to consume this entire video. If this video isn't one of the most valuable videos that you ever watch in regards to growing and ramping up your agency, I truly don't know what is. I really want you to sit down and consume everything that we go through. This video is essentially a recording of the weekly 3-hour calls that I hold inside of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency community every single week. This was last night's recording, and as you can see via the length of this video, it went for around 3 hours 15 to 3 hours 20 minutes. So we really do hold 3-hour weekly Q&A calls. Last week was around 3.5 hours, but I really wanted to share this one with you in particular because we go through just a wide array of different aspects of the agency and really everything that we need to implement into your agency to get to, 10K, 20K a month and above. In this video, we cover everything from client acquisition to the numbers and the KPIs associated with it, how to, scale client acquisition while just staying within the set KPIs. We go through UTM tracking and how you can basically track with a near 100% accuracy, even with the iOS 14 stuff. We basically go through a 3-pronged tracking system that I kind of detail out, and with the UTMs and how you can best leverage that. We actually went through kind of like a breaking down process and a troubleshooting process of a student's client ad account where they're spending around 1.5 to 2,000 a day, and they had a bit of a break recently. They're currently averaging around like 4 to 5 ROAS, and over the past 4 days they kind of had a break and it's averaging around like a 1 to 2 ROAS. So something's happened, and that's what we kind of troubleshooted last night on the call as well. We figured out exactly what it was, got to the root problem, and now he's going to go ahead and implement on that. And obviously we detail all of that inside of this video as well. So we go through all of that stuff all the way through to stuff, such as productizing your agency and how you can basically productize your agency in a way that's going to build an impeccable and just ridiculously efficient and effective team for your agency as well. Again, concepts not many people talk about because everybody always looks at their team in sort of the outsourcer / contractor lens, whereas I look at it as building a true team and really, as I say, productizing your agency in a way that fuels that team and enables them to operate at the highest level of efficiency and effectiveness, and enables you to essentially build an impeccable team. And then one of the real other big kind of concepts as well that we cover, came up a couple times in the call that again you're about to watch, is my viewpoint on mindset. Now there may be a bit of arguing going on in the comments if you agree or maybe you don't agree, but I go through actually why I hate mindset. I'm not a big fan of mindset whatsoever, and I detail why. And I go through basically what I use instead of mindset that enables me to scale past, like $60,000 a month with my agency. I go through why and how I'm able to do that whilst hating mindset. I never use mindset, and again, I detail that. So we cover a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I think is going to be very actionable for your agency. So I urge you, whether you do it in one stint, whether you watch this video 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times, whatever it is, I urge you to go through and watch the entire video. I know it's long, but it's going to help you so much. All you need to do is just sit down and watch the video. And just before you do that, again, this is, pulled directly out of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. So, it's very, 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 very valuable. And all I ask for you in return is just to simply smash the like button below and subscribe to the channel. It hugely helps out. I'm not asking for anything huge. I just want you to take the split second out of your day to go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, sit down, sit back, and enjoy the video. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you've had a good week. I know I've had a very, very busy week. And I hope, you guys have had a good week as well. I'm excited for tonight. I know I don't look, I just realized I look very, 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 very tired, but I'm feeling the call tonight. I'm excited. Hope you guys are as well. And I think that's about it. Let's just jump straight into it. So, first up, we have William.
Hello, Kai.
How are you, dude?
I'm good, pal. You don't look too bad, Kai. Don't worry.
I don't look too bad. I must just feel a bit worse. Feel tired tonight, but
you're fine, pal. The first thing I wanted to ask you about was testing budget in terms of, I know the course says, it depends on your overall budget and you can test with how much you want to, but I sort of want to approach it in terms of customer acquisition costs, in terms of, so my client's average order value is $65 and they have a gross profit margin of 80%, which means their gross profit on that order is, around $50, $52. So if we want to break even on the front end, So my method was break even on the front end, or aim to at least at the very minimum. So that's $50, and then we spend a multiple of that, so 2 or 3 times that to test each ad set. What are your thoughts on that?
What, so test an ad set with like $100 or $150?
Yeah.
Well, what's the monthly budget?
$4,000.
Yeah, you probably won't be able to do that.
Because my thought process was, if we test at really low budgets, which I have been, $10, $15, which hasn't done anything, then, that is really low in comparison to their average order value. Because even if they spent, $30 and they generated 2 purchases, then that is really good. But if we spent, $100 and then generated, 10 purchases, then that's even better. And I'm just thinking about linking that into the learning phase in terms of the first 2 days of testing an ad set. That's not really representative of what that ad set can really do in the first 2 days. So
no, for sure. I would do like $50 max.
$50 to test one ad set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so I just want to link onto that because, what I was saying about, the first 2 days is really unrepresentative. So I really want to stretch out that learning period, or the testing period is 7 days, to give that ad set a real chance, because what I've been doing so far, 2 or 3 days just hasn't been working. And it makes sense because the first 2 days are really unrepresentative of what an ad set can achieve. So would you then advise to divide, $50 by 7 days and then test that? So $12.
No, I wouldn't. I would. You don't need 7 days to test an ad set. You'll know in the first 3 to 4 days if it's what's going to happen. Like, you'll know. You can just tell. Sometimes you'll have a bit of a murky area, and that's where you can leave it an extra 24 hours or whatever, and see, right? But sometimes you'll see like day 1, day 2, you've got like a $12 cost per click. You just know that's never going to go back down to $1 a click. It's just not going to happen. You can just tell straight away. So you don't need to leave it the 7 days. To be honest, I wouldn't even do a $50 testing budget though, right? Like, I wouldn't do 2 to 3x AOV or anything like that. I would just do like $20 on like a $65 product. You can test quite a lot of stuff with like $20 an ad set, leave it 3 days. And then you've got, then you can kind of decide what you do from that point onwards. Do you leave it a couple more days to see how it goes? Do you look at potentially scaling it, or do you just cut it there and then?
Yeah, the thing is, I've tested a lot so far with small budgets such as that. It just hasn't warranted any results. So I'm just thinking of a different approach to sort of approach that.
Have you tested high budgets?
No, I haven't. Which is what I'm trying to do now in terms of put an ad set at, $15, $10 a day for 7 days. Give it enough testing periods for Facebook to look at what it can do, and then optimize from there. Because what I've been
Yeah, I mean, you can try it. You can definitely try it, but it's probably not a budget issue.
Okay.
No, it's probably not a budget. It's probably not like it never really comes down to that, to be honest. Like, yeah, you've got to give things like a fair test and whatnot. Yes, but it's never really that technical stuff that impacts the advertising. It's probably your creative, your copy, the offer, kind of in that order: creative, copy, offer, and then it's probably the audience, and then it's the technical stuff like the budget or how much you let it spend. Like, as long as you're giving it a good enough amount, right? As long as you're letting the ad set spend at least AOV, and then you make your decisions once it's spent AOV. As long as you're doing that, it's probably not a budget issue.
Okay, so spend at least AOV.
Yeah, at least AOV, and then you'll be able to, like I say, like once you spend that, you'll be able to tell. Like, some ad sets will be at like $10 a click, for example. If you're going just pure testing, kind of spraying from the hip, if it's a brand new client, you have no idea what's going to work, what's not going to work. There's an element of spraying from the hip, so some of the stuff is going to seriously flop, and you'll be able to tell, and you can just turn that stuff off straight away. But then you've got some stuff that'll do really well, and then other stuff where it's a bit murky. You're like, oh, it could go, it's getting maybe $1.50 a click. It's getting some higher funnel metrics, but the purchases aren't quite there yet. It's only spent AOV. Okay, let me run it another 24 hours, because if it gets 2 purchases now, you spent AOV, you get 2 purchases. There's your 2 ROAS, right? So you can let that stuff run an extra 24 hours, and then you can obviously do what you need to do with the stuff that's doing well. Yeah, anything less than AOV, yeah, you're not giving it a fair test. But But at that point, you can start to make your decisions. You don't need to let it spend like 2, 3, 4x AOV to be able to determine whether it's going to do well or not.
All right. I appreciate that. In terms of what would you say is a good add to cart to purchase ratio? Because with my client, we have 11 to 1 ratio, which I think that's really poor, isn't it? 11 to 1.
You have a what?
11 to 1 add to cart ratio. So for every 11 add to carts.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's not the best. I would look at anywhere from, I'd probably say 2 to 1 to 3 to 1.
Oh, really? That low?
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good number. Like we see, usually maybe like, I'm just trying to think in like terms of client ad accounts and whatnot. I would maybe say maybe 2,500 to 3,000 add to carts for like 1,000 purchases on a client website where it's like, it's on a, like, that's like a pinnacle kind of website where it's just perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So that's optimal.
So that's a goal. Yeah. It's optimal. Yeah.
In terms of UTMs, the purchase just doesn't, well, we got purchased on the ad account, but it just isn't registered in Google Analytics. I was wondering, sort of, has anything developed in terms of your UTM approach so far, or are you still sticking with that? How are you doing in terms of manual tracking, putting the website link?
No, we do. We do Google Analytics, and we do Google Analytics, and we do Shopify natively as well. You can check it in Shopify. You go to orders, and then you click on the order, and you can see it at the bottom there, like where the order came from, the UTM that's associated with it. So we do all three. When you do all three, you've got like a ridiculously accurate tracking. But Google Analytics has to be set up correctly though. So it might not be set up correctly with your client.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's all from me, Kai. I really appreciate it.
Cool, man. No worries. No worries. Enzo.
Hey, Kai. How are you?
Hey, dude. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. So first, thank you for the training on the Quantum Leap agency on the service delivery week. I got this client, right? It's a supplement brand, and basically he wants to start with $1,000 on each month to spend on the ads. So basically he has like 10 products, but he's the top notch on one of the products. Product is called monolaurin, which is a compound from coconuts. So he's the best there, but he has fear, getting banned or getting sued, from posting, the benefits in the ads or in his website. So basically what he did, my client, is he created another website, which is basically only for educational purposes, only talking about this compound, this supplement, but that's just to educate the people. So basically his strategy, what he wants to do is he wants to put like from two separate ad accounts from two separate Facebook pages, two ads, or, separate. One is for educational content, for people to read about this compound. And when people go into a website, the educational website, we can retarget those that went to the educational website, so they can, buy this compound, which is, is for a lot of illnesses, it's for the immune system. But I don't know if that's going to work, because we have $1,000 in budget, and I don't know. I want to hear about your thoughts on his strategy.
Yeah, that's the first thing. You're diluting that spend so much. Like you cannot dilute that spend that much. It's only $1,000. Like I would only maybe look at doing something like that if you had like minimum like 10 grand a month. And secondly, you say it was through like different pages, like a page for each?
Yeah, basically he created this other website, which he only talks about the benefits about this compound, this supplement. Because
why is it not on one?
It's only one, because he specializes, he's the best at this product. So he created that, so people can go there and, maybe inform the audience, and he has some suggestions about buying there, but it's separate.
Why though? So he's got one website where you can buy the product and another website where it's informational about the product.
Yeah, because basically,
why is it separate?
Yeah, because he says he can get sued if he puts the information in the website that he sells the product.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that I've never heard of that before. First of all, but yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like, forget that side of it. I don't want to touch on that. Like, I don't know why we get sued or anything, but I don't want to say anything on that side. But on the budget side and whatnot, the marketing side, with $1,000, you won't be able to split that up and then retarget and whatnot. $1,000 a month's $30 a day. Like, there's no way you're splitting that up too many ways. I would either try and bump up the budget, first of all, if he wants to do that. If not, then you're going to have to just go for one end goal, like one objective. Like, you can't like get people to do that, consume that, get a lot of eyeballs on that, and then have some sort of retargeting strategy in the back end. You're going to have to try and get those points across in the ad itself and send them directly to the website on like $1,000 a day. You're going to have some really, really good copy and get those same points across that they would have gotten through the external website. Just try to get that across in the Facebook ad in your copy.
Okay, got it. Okay, so would you suggest only going, for cold audiences and, promoting all of his products? I mean, talking about the brand, would you suggest that instead of doing the other strategy? Like,
well, I mean, the other strategy is not something that I would do. I don't know. Again, I don't know why it can't be connected up or whatever. But anyway, if you do want to do that, that's okay. I mean, it's worth a try, but you need to get the budget bumped up. You won't be able to do it on $1,000 a month. You won't be able to do it. So I'm not against it, like, strictly, but I'm against doing it on 1,000. So yeah, I would try and. If he doesn't want to move on the budget and he wants to keep the 1,000 a month, I would just try and create some really, really good copy where you get those points across in the copy, and then from there they then go to the website with that pre-frame, right? They're already sold or somewhat sold via the copy.
Okay. Do you mean like in long story form copy, education, like educating the people that are going to see the ad about this compound in the ad by itself?
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever the education is that they're trying to get through on this other separate website or whatever, just cut out that step. Just cut that step out, so you're not wasting your money or bloating or diluting the spend, I should say. Just cut out that step and just do it in the Facebook ad.
All right, thank you, Kai. I appreciate that. So I have another question. He has like 10 products in his website. And I don't know if to write the copy for each product or just, talking about the brand. And, because he has like some awards, he has this GMT certified, his third lab test, and basically he's pretty successful at Amazon. So I don't know if I have to write copy for each product or just
I mean, if each
overall.
product's obviously if each product's got a lot of different benefits and whatnot, then it's going to make sense to do each product and then target accordingly. But again, you can't do that on 1,000 a month. Like that, what you need to do is focus on the one bestseller or the number one product, create copy around that, and find the audience that suits. And then once the budget starts to fill out a little bit more each month, once you get to the 10,000 a month mark, then you can split it up, right? Then you can do like if each and every product's each 10 products are very different and they have their own benefits, then 100% I recommend putting a bit more time and creating copy around each one and then target accordingly. But again, you can only do that when the ad spend permits. At the moment, it doesn't permit. So I would just focus on the number one product and focus on that, creating the copy around that, the audiences around that, ramp that up, and then look at expanding once the budget kind of follows.
Okay, thanks so much. So I just number one bestseller on the product he wants to sell, and that's everything for this campaign. and then for the next months we can just build on more products. Okay. Okay. So another question is, since we have $1,000, I don't know how many audiences, like just an idea, or how many ad sets, how many styles of copy, because it's my first time doing this, so I'm out of ideas, like how many ad sets to put the ads.
What's the AOV?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask him.
What's the price of the product?
Oh, the price is like $22. Yeah.
Okay. So you could probably test like $10 an ad set. So
$10.
3 ad sets. Yeah.
Okay. 3 ad sets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, $1,000 a month, I'm pretty sure breaks down to like, $30 a day, just over 30 whatever dollars a day. So you just do $10, $11 an ad set. 3 top of funnel ad sets. Like, obviously there's no retargeting yet. It sounds like it's a brand new company. Just do obviously full top of funnel. And then, I mean, you could probably just do a couple dollars retargeting. Because you could probably maybe do a couple dollars retargeting. And then for your copy, I would do like maybe two pieces, maybe 3 pieces per ad set. Probably 2. Probably stick with 2 actually.
2 pieces. Okay. All right. So
try and take a
3
different
ad
angle
sets
on each.
Okay. Okay. So would you recommend 3 ad sets, 3 audiences, and 2 pieces of copy on each ad set? Okay.
Well, just 2 pieces of copy, right? It's not like 4 different pieces. It's just 2 pieces, but you do 2 in each ad set.
So 2 pieces overall, or 2 pieces?
Yeah, 2 variants overall, and you do your variations within each ad set. But it's just 2 pieces, not 2 per ad set. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Thanks so much, Kai. That really helped me. I was a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, dude. No need to be. No need to be. It's a small budget, it's nothing to, well, it's very, very small budget. I think that's probably going to be your biggest issue. Like, you're very, very limited to what you can test. But if that's what the client wants to do, then, you're going to have to accept that the lead time, to you finding the winners and you being able to ramp, that lead time is going to be much longer. It's just what happens when you got a smaller budget. But if that's what he wants to start with, that's completely fine. But yeah, no need to be stressed, man.
All right. Thanks so much. And also thank you for responding to my questions in the group.
Yeah, of course, man. No worries at all.
All right. So that's everything. And have a good night, man.
Likewise, dude. All right. Jarove. Believe I got your name right this time.
Hey Kai, how's it going? Yeah, you got it right.
Good. Yeah, good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I've been good, thanks. Since we last spoke, I'm on 3 clients now, and I've hit my goal of 5K for January. So
nice,
yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I wanted to ask you, like, in terms of the UTM tracking, like, one of my clients, they have the campaign option, but my other client, they don't even have that option. So how do I fix that? So because in the tutorial it says go to acquisitions, click campaign, and it works for one of my clients, but another client of mine, it doesn't have that option. So is there something missing on that?
Yeah, it won't be set up correctly. That's the issue. It's got to be the Google Analytics. It's got to be set up correctly, but you can do it through Shopify. You can track natively through Shopify as well.
Oh, so is there any thing that I can do on my side to set it up properly for them?
The Google Analytics?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. You'll just have to figure out how to do it correctly. Like, I don't know the specifics behind the scenes and whatnot.
Okay.
Of setting up Google Analytics correctly. Yeah, it's a pretty big beast, to be honest. But you can, like I say, you can shop natively in Shopify. Track natively in Shopify on each order. Okay. It's a bit manual. It's a bit tedious. Like, you've got to go through each order. But I mean, clients who are making whatever they're making, obviously depends on AOV and stuff. But just get yourself, if it's just you, or if you've got a media buyer, whatever, like each morning, just go through and track and plug the data in on that tracking sheet through Shopify's native UTM, and then you'll be able to have basically 3 medians if Google Analytics is set up. Then you've got like 3 tracking systems, and obviously, you know, that makes things very, very accurate. If Google isn't set up, just do Facebook and Shopify.
Okay, that's cool. So I have to set up the UTMs manually on Shopify, and there's tutorials on that.
No, you don't need to. Just if you create the UTMs correctly, following the video I'll put in the group, the orders then that come through those UTMs will automatically have that UTM associated with it in Shopify. So to see it, all you do is go into the Shopify dashboard, you go into orders in the top left, and then you just open up each order, and on the right hand side you'll see kind of like I forget the exact wording, but you'll see kind of where it was from, right? This person came from Instagram or whatever it says, or Facebook or whatever. And then you just open that up, and then you can see in there, it says via UTM, and then you see your source, your campaign, and the median. And you can also see the window as well. So it shows you how many sessions they had, right? If they went on the website 3 times, 2 times, 1 time, 9 times, and it shows you the window as well. So it took this person 22 days to convert. It took this person 9 days to convert, 1 day to convert over 3 sessions, or, you know, whatever. So pretty good.
Okay.
And you've got your UTMs,
cool.
which is the main reason for it.
Oh, so that's nothing extra on my side as long as I've built out the parameters correctly, and then all I need to do is just view it. Oh, awesome.
They're automatically attached. Yeah, they're automatically attached.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And yeah, have you had any experience building out a Zipify funnel before? Because one of my clients, they've got a product. They just sell one product. It's an insole, and they've got a patent on it. So they're the only insole in the world where it's adjustable orthopedic, and yeah, they've done really well organically. They're averaging like 10, 15K, and they're wanting to scale that. So I told them, yeah, I recommend that we build out a Zipify funnel page for you, because it's only one product, and to have a budget of minimum 3K, and then steadily grow that over time.
Yeah, so we have, I haven't personally, my team built one out for a client I remember specifically, and actually did pretty well. It was like an upsell funnel thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, can definitely do that.
Okay, that's cool. And yeah, I've got a question in terms of Facebook ads as well. So the approach that I've tried taking, I'm doing the ABOs like you did on service delivery, and I've tried doing for my client with a £1,000 budget. There's another one. I've done like half of it like story campaigns, and half of it on like in-feed ads. So I'm doing 3 ad sets each, which is both 3 ad sets. So pretty much £5 into stories, £5 into campaigns. What do you think of that approach? Do you think I'm diluting it too much, or should I just focus on you know, putting all the stories and campaigns within one ad set, or continue to like have 2 separate campaigns?
No, I just do it in one ad set, and I just make sure your placements match.
Okay.
You don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to separate it. You can just do it inside of one ad set. Like the ads in there, you can just do specific ads for, you know, this Instagram placement. The Instagram story placement. You do a specific Instagram you know, native story ad, and then for the feed you do another kind of native feed ad, for example.
Yeah.
And then it's just in one ad set.
Yeah, sounds good, thanks. And during the testing phase, you said I think maximum like 2 to 3 ads in each ad set, right? Just so it doesn't get diluted.
If the budget is like, yeah, you say £1,000, right?
Yeah, for my other client.
Yeah, you don't want to go over 4.
Okay.
You don't want to go over 4.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and for my other client with 3K budget, how much should I put per ad set? Do you think?
In terms of budget per ad set?
Yeah, for a client with like, let's say 3K. So should I be putting like 20 a day on each ad set? And
it depends. it depends how much you're testing and how much the AOV is as well.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like a product that's
is,
got a $200 AOV, like you just can't do a $10 ad set. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because their product is like $60-$70, and yeah, so
Yeah, you could
they
do
only sell one product.
$20-$30 an ad set.
Okay, that's awesome. And yeah, I think my final question was in terms of like approaching new clients because of like the new tracking isn't as accurate compared to before. Are you still offering out these ROAS deals implemented? Because I remember you were heavily going off them at the beginning of the 2021.
Yeah, we are. We are basically pretty much. Yeah, it's like first of all, we haven't noticed any dip in tracking just yet. That's the first thing. Like we've noticed nothing. Like nothing's changed. We're doing these like each client's almost got like a 3 fallback tracking system, and like nothing's changed. Nothing's different. And secondly, worst comes to worst is like you can use Hyros, stuff like that. If everything does just blow up and like nothing's working anymore, just there's so many external softwares like Hyros that you can just literally fall back on, and you've got perfect tracking again.
Oh, okay, that's good because well, with my recent clients, I did like a setup fee. So one of them was a 1K setup fee, and then the other one was a 3K setup fee, and the ROAS was 20% and 15%.
Nice.
So I think I've kind of covered myself in terms of
that.
for
sure. I mean, if you can get them on a flat fee retainer as well as a ROAS deal, it's not going to hurt by any means. So I'm not against it, but I'm not against it whatsoever. But I mean, at the moment, it's still the same. Everything's the same.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's good because I was getting worried that like obviously I just got these new clients and I'm like, oh no, what if I won't be able to track it properly? But I think since I'm implementing the UTMs, I should be fine. Yeah, thanks, man. Right, I'm gonna go back to my lecture because I'm in the middle of it. So I appreciate your help. And by the way, in terms of this recording, will it be up soon or?
It'll be up. It'll be up tomorrow. I can do that now. It all uploads perfectly. I had an issue with the other ones, but all the past 3 weeks are up. So there's probably like, I don't know, maybe 10 hours of content there that I uploaded like a couple of days back. So.
Oh, legend. I appreciate you, man. I'll keep you updated with my journey as well.
Awesome, dude. Please do.
Speak to you soon, man. Peace.
Likewise. All right. Krishnav.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Okay. Just a second. My audio is just a second. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. Okay. How are you? Cool. Good, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Doing good. Going with the stuff. I had a meeting yesterday morning, 6 a.m. With an Australian brand, which I talked about last time. And I pitched them a 3,000 setup fee and then a ROAS 17% return on ad spend. And one thing I messed up because there were 2 people and they seem to be a really big brand. And I'm bad at this stuff that I get scared when there are so big brands, but I shouldn't do that. But like, so they told me they will get back to me by next week, mid. So should I get them on a call again, or would that be on email itself?
No, you should. Looking back, you should have.
I should definitely would have pitched up a follow-up call, which I messed up.
Yeah, you should have booked in the follow-up call on the call, right? So when they say, "Look, we'll probably get back to you maybe mid next week," you'd be like, "Perfect. Why don't we set up a call? Or how does next week at Wednesday at 4 p.m. sound?" Like push to get that follow-up call scheduled in on the current call. So it's happening next week, no matter what, because now they've gotten out. Right. But yeah, that's fine. Just don't follow up with them. Don't push it too much. Like they've said mid next week. So Wednesday, or I would say probably Thursday next week. That's when you can start to follow up if you don't hear from them.
Okay. And another trouble I'm having is the ads manager. The data is not showing up, the return on ad spend, anything. I asked this last time, but I could not figure this out for some reason. So how could I get it back up?
What do you mean? The totals?
So the return on ad spend completely vanished. The purchase conversion value is 0
Yeah, that's
in the
just because of
campaigns.
your
I restarted the
attribution.
campaign.
It's just because of the
Yeah, but it's on
attribution.
a 7 days plus one, 7 days of plus one click day, something like that. So I'm not on a 28-day attribution. Why is it still having a trouble?
Is it the totals, or is it individual? Can you see individual ad sets?
I can see the individual ad sets, and they are on a 7-day
Yeah. So
attribution.
you can't do the you can't have the totals, because what will happen is you've got to select, like, if you do 3 new campaigns with all ad sets, every single ad set in there is your 7-day, is your normal default for you now. You'll be able to see the totals if you select those and go to the ad set level. But as soon as there's like a 7-day, 20, and then an old like 28-day or whatever, it can't calculate it all. For some reason, don't know why, but it doesn't show you totals anymore. So you've got to go into the specific ad sets and then you can see your totals.
So the only way out is just to create new ads and forget this for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
start with
if
new one.
you don't know, I wouldn't recommend creating new ads if the current ones are working and whatnot. But yeah, if you've got, like, for example, we launched a new client recently. And so that was after the whole iOS 14 thing. So obviously every ad we launched was default your 7-day. So now what we do, like from a campaign view in the ad account, we can't see totals because there's so many other campaigns that, you know, I've had to do old 28 days, but we just select our 3 campaigns and then we go to the ad set level and then we can see the totals.
Okay. And another question. With one of my clients, we got 16,000 viewers in Shopify in one day, but only $90 in conversion value. They were pretty confused. I'm pretty confused what's happening. Is there something like bots that could happen?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Just duplicate it.
No. With the Shopify store, individual Shopify store.
Oh, it's not through your Facebook ads?
No, just the Shopify
Oh, that
store.
sounds, yeah, it's probably traffic that got sent there. Did it happen once off and you've not experienced it again?
No, so 16,000 was the peak of it, but over the past 3 to 4 days, we have been seeing a lot of viewers on the store. And if I check right now, again, we have about 30 viewers live right now on the store.
That's interesting. It's definitely some sort of bots or something like that.
And I downloaded one of the apps. I got recommended something called Orange Tracker or something on Shopify just to see the heat maps. And people, yeah. And people are not going towards, so only a few people, it's like a 1 minute view period, 1 minute time frame. They're viewing the product, but they're not moving any forward. What should I suggest them? How should I go forward? They're pretty confused.
No, it's not. That won't be real buyers. That'll be bots or whatever they call it. It's not right. That's not like real buyers. No way.
Okay, so what can I do to what can I do to remove this? Can I even do something in this? They're asking for an advice on how should I go, like we're getting traffic but not any sales. What should I do?
I mean, I suppose you'd want to make sure that it isn't legit. Like, make sure that like all the medians that they're pushing and whatnot. I mean, how much are they doing a month?
They are doing
roughly
about 5 to 6K a month.
Okay, yeah,
this was the lower client.
Yeah, it's definitely fake. In terms of actionable stuff, I'm not sure. Like, we've not had this with a client. I mean, you could probably maybe reach out to Shopify and see what they say, because they like, it won't be a new thing to them. I would maybe try reach out to like I say, to Shopify, and just hope for the best, like in terms of like leaving it for a couple of days and just hoping it dies down. But if you want to take some actionable stuff, like I would potentially reach out to Shopify. But I can't really give you something step by step to do, because that's not happened. I hear about it happening, but it's not happened to a client.
Okay, and if so, one of them asked me for like if they had some tweakings about if they wanted to change up their store, it's like a rebuild. Should I offer them that, or should I not do that, or refer it to someone else?
Not based off of that data. If that's what they want to do because of that data, like
No,
all
no, no.
those
Before
people.
that, before that, before that.
Okay, well, just see. Well, I mean, ask yourself, like, how do you feel about rebuilding a website? It's not something I would do. I mean, there's actually, I've got a deal like that at the moment where I won't say any names, but could be around like 70 grand, in pure profit for me, just as like a finder's fee, and basically connecting like a huge. It's not even an ecom brand. It's another like huge 100 million a year business with like a website building agency, creation agency, design agency, and whatnot. And I'm just literally the middleman. I just know both of them. I connect them. I could be around 60 to 70 grand. So yeah, you can do that instead if you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself.
Yeah, so I could give it away to a contractor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or an agency.
Okay, okay. And next question would, before that, with the pricing, because I haven't done this before with Shopify rebuilds. How should I go about pricing? Because they're like a 4 to 5K online. They do 60K on offline and through Amazon and stuff. But with their store, which I'm managing, they're doing 4 to 5K there itself. So
well, it depends. It's not
pricing?
It's not based on what you price. It's based on what you can find. Like if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna build it yourself, I mean, a website could be anywhere from like 5 to flipping 50 grand, right? If you're going to build it yourself, I wouldn't charge a crazy amount if you're not 100% confident in yourself. Like for funnel builds, which is very different, I started out charging the lower end, like maybe I think my first one was like 3 grand, 4 grand, right? Now it's obviously got ramped up. Because I've built up my experience building funnels and whatnot for clients and stuff. So I feel fine with that. With a website though, I wouldn't even do it. But if I were to do it, it would be a lot lower. And I recommend the same for you. Like I wouldn't go out and charge 10K just up front when you're not actually that confident. Okay. But if you're going to match it up with somebody else, if you're going to find like an agency or somebody, it's not what you price, it's what they price. And then you slap an extra on.
Okay. Makes sense. And how do I go about tracking the ads on Shopify? Like you were talking about it just now. If you could
go into orders.
Okay.
And then click on an order.
Okay. Yeah.
And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to pull up a client one because I want to give you exactly what it says on the screen. I can't remember what it says. 2 seconds. So orders, click on open up an order. On the right-hand side, conversion summary. Don't know how I forgot that. Conversion summary.
Yeah.
And then go view conversion details. And then you can see set total sessions, days to conversion. So that's like how long it took them. And then you've got the activity. So you've got like first session from wherever. And then there's obviously a bit of details. Then down the bottom, you'll see via UTM and you can open that up and then it's going to give you more details about that UTM. And that's where you can see if it was from your ad or not.
So I'll have to set up the UTMs first, right?
Oh yeah. I'll have to set those up.
Yeah. I'm
just watch the video I'll put in the group.
I watched it 2 times.
Okay, cool. Yes. So obviously you know exactly how to set it up and how to set it up correctly as well. So you can actually track it distinctly. So yeah, once you do that, then it all automatically get applied to the purchases that come through. And then you can see exactly cool. And you can also see what campaign it was from, what source it was from, stuff like that.
Okay, makes sense. And so I'm thinking of doing more of cold looms just for now, just to get back to it for now, because I'm not at a really big scale right now. So with the looms, how do I go about following up with an email if someone has not responded?
I just bump it up. You don't want to. You want to get people to watch that loom. You put so much time into building that loom. You want to get them to watch the loom. The loom is what's going to sell them. So just send a bump email for them to rewatch
How many
the
times
loom.
can I follow up with them?
There's not really a limit, to be honest. Like past, like if you send more than like 4 of the same type of follow-ups, there's, you know, it goes from like there being a lot of chance of you get, like, the odds are very, very high for a period of time. But as it goes to, like, you know, 4 follow-ups, for example, and they've still not watched it, or they've still not done what you want them to do, then it like just massively dips off, and it's basically, you're just wasting your time at that point. But
Okay,
technically, you can
makes
send as many follow-ups as you want.
Okay, makes total sense.
Until they tell you off or whatever.
Okay. And my last question for now, I don't have much questions like I used to last time, but like I have minimal questions right now. But
That's
my
all right.
question would be this something away from the logistics part, like Facebook and stuff. Since I haven't heard it before from you, but like just wanted to get an idea of your like journey or timestamp. Like you started 3 years ago, and you're here in like 3 years. So you started in July 2017?
Started my agency.
Yeah, with your agency. Just wanted to get a brief of the journey, just to get a realistic view towards the whole business.
So I always find it hard to say like distinctly when I started my agency, because I was doing it for so like 15, like throughout school and whatnot. I was like understanding it and learning it. And like a lot of people at that time, you know, like say like, oh, you know, I'm running my agency and whatnot. It's like, well, you're not, you're just like watching videos on it or whatever, you know. Like for me, I was doing that for a very, very long time. But yeah, like I would say things really started to ramp up when I left school. Like that was when things really started to ramp up, which was 12 months ago, when I left school. But I would say like all of 2019, I was running my agency. I was doing maybe 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month, kind of in that order throughout the year. And then when I left school, that's when I hit like, 20K like within like 3 months. So I would say for like, I would say for like 2 solid years, I would say at this point.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because so after the sales call, it's something I personally feel I get like after the calls, I feel like I do not have anything to look forward, because I'm sending emails, I feel hopeless. I just wanted to get a realistic idea of how long would it take to reach at least one point where I could look forward to something. But yeah, makes sense.
I mean, it's just a matter of like, I mean, look, put it this way as well. When you're starting out or when you're trying to get the ball rolling, it's so much harder. Like you're so in the trenches. You're so like, it's like you're getting dirty every single day. But as things start to come in, as you kind of start to slowly but surely break out of that in the trenches process of, you know, sending emails every single day, not feeling like you're getting anywhere, and you're like trying to action on the data, but it's like, oh my God, I just, you know, you can't see past like almost a brick wall that's in front of you. As I say, once you go through that brick wall, you get through it and you get out of that stage, then you get to the point of like 5 to 10K a month. Once you're in that stage, that's the inflection point, because once you're past 10K a month with your agency, like it becomes so much better. It becomes so much more scalable. You can see the heights. And also then it gets to a point as well, almost where like goals don't become as much of a thing for you in terms of monetary monthly goals or anything, because you get so confident where you know you're going to hit it. Like, you know, when you've got like systems in place that you know you can send 100 emails and get 3 meetings booked or 5 meetings booked, and out of 5 meetings, you get 2 clients. You know, when you're that confident, and when you know that like every client that you sign, you've got an average 12-month retention rate. Your average billable is 6K a month or 5K a month or 7K a month or whatever. And you know the results are just off the charts. You've got that service delivery process in place as well. Like from A to Z, you're just ridiculously confident in every area of your agency. That's when like goals and whatnot, like it just kind of doesn't come into play, like, you know, because you know you're going to hit it. It's just a matter of time. Like, you know, you're going to get to 50K a month or 100K a month, and you get to that level of confidence once you break out of that, almost like a rat race when you're starting. You break through those walls and you get to the 5 to 10K a month stage, and then you solidify everything, and that enables you to get to like 15, 20K a month. And then that's when you get to that kind of just level of confidence that, yeah, it's just kind of, yeah, unbreakable, to be honest.
That's really good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
And also joining Centurion agency program. That's
Yeah.
something you have made it so enticing. It's something I genuinely want to hop on and be a part of. People like you, and like the simple statement, like all the people say, like you are the equivalent of the 5 people you move with. And I've
Yeah.
seen this change when I joined this program. So I can expect what it will be in the next phase. So really looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Thank you so much.
Of course, dude. No worries at all.
Thank you.
No worries. All right. Nico.
What's up, Kai?
Hey, dude. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Good, good.
Yeah, first of all, I appreciate your answer my DM Instagram,
On
so
Instagram.
fast.
No
I
worries.
just thought the resources have been so helpful. So yeah, thanks for that.
No worries.
My first question is, I was pretty close to sign my first client last week, but the thing when it fallen like in the end was the owner was comparing like a couple of different agencies, and we had like 3 calls, and yeah, I think we have a great bond. But then he said that you're looking for agents that can be like more creative with like add creatives, so like graphics and design to make like edits to them. And they have a pretty solid like brand. They Instagram photos were like very high quality and whatnot. And yeah, I asked my media buyer like, can he do with like designs to ads, and he said that he cannot, but if needed, he can hire like freelancers to do that. But yeah, I answered to the brand owner like, in terms of like their content quality, I don't think that like graphics and edits are necessary, because of you have already such a high quality content. But if needed, we have resources to make like graphics. But yeah, he didn't answer anything, and I think he have decided to go somewhere else. But have you ever faced like similar situation, or do you think that I should handle that situation differently? And is like those ad graphics something we should offer to customers, or?
Yeah, so I have had similar situations where, yeah, the prospect is more interested in us, or is interested in us having that as a service. Like, they get a little bit like, oh, you don't do, you know, it's like, oh, you don't do graphic design, or you don't do video editing as well. And I've had it a lot of times as well where they've been like that, and I've been able to kind of turn them around, and they've came on as a client, right? And kind of one of my go-tos for that is I just tell them like, look, we're not graphic designers, we're not video editors, we're Facebook advertisers. So in the creative department, what we're going to do is we're going to give you the utmost direction on how to get the creatives on and the types of creatives we need. So then basically all you need to do as the owner is just like, you know, or you can even get your designers and this and that in the Slack group with us, and we basically tell them, so you're removed from the process, right? Because we know what we want, because we know exactly what's going to work and what isn't. So then we just need to get the creatives that are going to work, and we know what they are, so we can tell you. So it's just a matter of having somebody else there who can actually do it. We don't do it because we're not graphic designers, we're not video editors, we're marketers, and that's what we triple down on. We went through a phase where the CMO, Bax Consulting, like he focused on doing a bit of graphic design here and a bit of graphic design there. Like I never sold the client on the service, but you know, there was some things where he's like, oh, I'd want this or I'd want that, and he just quickly did it. But obviously his skills are limited on graphic design because we're not graphic designers. So yeah, you can definitely, you know, there's actually a couple of services out there that you can use for graphic design and video editing and stuff. Or you can get like a freelancer or like a, you know, an additional team member on your team who is a graphic designer or whatever, and you can use them obviously for client accounts, because also it's about like an investment as well, right? If these clients are on ROAS deals, then if your creatives are better, if your creators are more powerful because of the graphic design or the editing, then it makes sense for you to invest into some sort of resource that enables you to do that, because then your ROAS are, you know, what you're going to make back is going to be bigger, and it's going to be you're going to make back more. So the investment's positive, right? The ROI is positive. So
yeah, sure. I think that is like thing when you have a couple of clients, you can start to look into it.
Yeah, exactly. For you now, you don't need to, like, we've only looked at, actually, no, it was in January, this month. We kind of brought that arm on as a selling point for clients, but up until that point, like we didn't touch creatives really. Like, we didn't sell clients on creatives. We touch them sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That helps a lot. My next question. This is quick question. So when you have option to like the Gmail profile picture, have you like profile a picture on your like Gmail account when you send like emails?
Actually, that's something I've been thinking about. So on my main one, like baxconsulting.com, like I've got my YouTube picture, like the picture that's on my YouTube is associated to my .com email as well. It's the same one. But obviously we don't send out emails through that. It's all through burner accounts. And on my burner accounts, I don't have a picture. There's no, I've got nothing. And the results at the moment are crazy. Like, it's ridiculous. And yeah, I've been thinking about doing it, but it's just something I've not got around to. But we've kept kind of sending out and doing the thing, doing our thing with it. And yeah, I mean, it's had no impact on results. So
okay.
I would recommend it though. Like, it's not going to hurt. It's only going to help.
Yeah. I was thinking if maybe it gives like more human touch or something, but
most definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Next question. So my current outreach process is like I'm doing emails and Instagram DMs and always asking if they want to see a loom. And with looms, my booking rate hasn't been like anything crazy yet, probably like 10%. So how do you like go about like improving your like booking rate with watched looms?
10% isn't bad.
Okay.
But the best way to improve it is just make it more, like, make your looms convert better, like in terms of the actual content of it and the way that you structure it, right? Because a loom it's like a miniature sales letter. You know, that's pretty much what it is. You're taking a cold prospect through a process, through a video VSL, and getting them to book in a call. So you just got to make that more tight, and you've got to make it more, you know, kind of that kind of value in their face, value, kind of show them actionable things, stuff of that nature, you know, actionable insights, and then, you know, position the call in a way where it's a no-brainer. It's that term of like making the call a no-brainer, making it sound like it's got no downside. It's lost a lot of weight because everybody talks about it, but it's still so important. Making it, no downside, and making it a no-brainer. So you just got to make that kind of VSL, essentially, is what it is. Make that more airtight, and you'll see your numbers go up. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, yeah.
Or get more people to watch it, and then you're making 10% on a higher number of people.
Yeah. Okay. When you send a loom via email, do you always add your calendar link to that email as well?
No, I put it as a CTA in Loom.
So in like comment section, or
there's actually I don't know if it's on the paid plan or if it's on the free plan, but you do like an actual CTA, so it's a button that goes on the video.
Okay.
Oh, it's on the paid plan. Sebastian said so.
Yeah, I have paid plan.
Oh, you do have the paid plan? Perfect. Yeah. You'll be able to add a CTA.
Okay, so is it like some sort of like button on the video screen, or?
It's on the when you so when you record your Loom, and then it upload, or it like goes to the other screen and it like uploads for a minute, and then once you can like trim it and all that type of stuff. Like today I did a SOP walkthrough for Centurion Agency, so I'm just pulling up that video, and you've got the button right on the side of Loom. It literally says call to action. You click that, you got button text, so that's what obviously the button actually says, and then you got button link, which is the URL. So when they click the button, where do they go to? You can like design the button, you can do the color and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I added to my Looms.
Okay, and I guess I tried it once. Can you like time that, or does it like show all the time?
Pretty sure it shows all the time.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I think that is fine. So yeah, I will definitely do that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and yeah, my last question is, this is actually quite a weird one and funny. So I was talking with a brand that is actually solid looking brand, but with the company name, they had a word fuck. And when I was talking with the owner, he said that they have tried Facebook ads before, but they got restricted because the fuck word in the company name.
Yeah.
So can you work around that, or?
No, I wouldn't say so. Like there is workarounds for like different stuff, right? For like for example, like I don't know, like a CBD company, right? You cannot advertise CBD on Facebook, but you can, just because the product's got CBD in it, you can still advertise it as long as you don't push the fact that it's CBD, right? So you can still technically advertise, right? For example, I remember last week or the week before, I don't know if you were on, but there was an issue with a client where their product names were very, very, I suppose you could say explicit, right? There was very, very explicit product names. And, it was very, very difficult, but there's probably the best workaround for that is by still pushing the products. You can still push the products, but just not highlighting the names of it. Whereas with this, it's like, it's the business name. You can't hide that. You can't hide the link. It's in the link. It's probably on the Facebook page. You can't hide any of that. So yeah, I'm unfortunately I'm not too sure of the best way to combat that situation without kind of changing the name.
Yeah, I was saying the same, but I said I look into it. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why they would call their business that, to be honest, or have that word in it. I don't.
Yeah, it's a yoga wear brand, so the brand is named like Namaste as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have thought about that before I named my brand that, because that's going to provide a lot of issues.
Yeah, but it's quite a big brand. They have like 40K followers on Instagram and like quite a big following, but yeah.
Yeah. Advertising's not going to be their best friend.
Yeah.
At least on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think this covers all. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Likewise, man. Good to speak. Cool. Solhadin.
Hey Kai, how's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to hear from you, man. It's been a while since we last spoke.
Likewise, man. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's been 2 weeks. I'm not going to keep you too long. Yeah, just two questions that I had. In terms of the UTM, I know that someone asked this question at the start of the call.
Mm-hmm.
But does the UTMs, does it sort of only work when your client is using Shopify? Because I know that you mentioned checking it through Shopify. Because my current client, they are using Weebly, and the UTMs, they're currently not reporting any purchases. It's basically just showing the traffic that are coming through. So
no, they should still work. I'm almost certain they should still work. I would say the issue would be the fact that it's not set up correctly. Maybe not the UTMs, but if it's where are you looking? Where are you tracking? Is it in Weebly itself or is it in Google Analytics?
So in the video that you record, right, you mentioned going to acquisition and then campaign. So I'm facing the same problem where I'm not seeing campaign. I'm looking at under acquisition, I'm looking at traffic acquisition, I think.
Yeah, you can have a look at it another way.
Showing.
You can look at it at
Like
another
how?
way. There's another way to you can have a look through. It's sources/medium. I can't remember how you get to it, but it's sources/medium. That's another way that you can get into it. However, Google Analytics needs to be set up correctly. That's probably the issue. If it's not showing, it's because Google Analytics isn't set up correctly.
Is there anything else that I should do on the back end? Because like I sort of followed that video you sent like to the T. Like I followed everything exactly the way you did it.
No, it just needs, as I say, Google Analytics needs to be set up correctly. And there's probably a workaround in Weebly as well. I would assume. We only really deal with Shopify, but
yeah,
nothing else in the back end.
But
nothing else in the back end.
Is there anything else that needs to be set up on the client's end, like in terms of like a Google, the Google Tag Manager and that stuff?
No, I mean, the Google Suite needs to be set up correctly. I'm not too sure the specifics of how to do so, like I mentioned before. That said, apart from that, outside of Google Analytics, nothing else needs to be set up on the back end.
Okay, yeah, okay, got that. I'll try to figure that out. But the other question that I had was in terms of outreach. I've been looking at scaling things up, so sort of like just like hitting way more numbers, and not going the personalized route anymore. But so I just wanted to know how you're going about doing that, because I remember you mentioned in a couple of calls ago that you're doing 100 emails per day now.
Yeah, well, we're currently testing a script that is a script. The entire thing's a script, and the numbers on it again are pretty good. It's booked 2 calls. We sent like 60 emails, I believe. Not even got a follow-up sequence in place. Just 1 email, 1 script. I just literally wanted to test it, and it's booked 2 calls. It's got like I think between 10 to 15% reply rate. So yeah, it's doing really well. So that's kind of how we're doing it. Scripted, and just having the necessary amount of burner accounts.
Are you asking for a loom in the first email, or are you sending them directly to a calendar or case study?
Directly to a call. No, of course, directly to a call. Again, we're kind of just changing things up at the moment. So directly to a call, which is how we're getting those book calls come through. And then also I'm putting in a PS, and the PS is directly to my VSL page. And a lot of people click that. Like the click-through rate on the emails are like 10% as well. I think something ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. But in terms of the whole, how many emails do you send per domain?
Usually between like 30 to 50, in that range. At the moment, like that's what we're doing at the moment. But because it's burner accounts, we can ramp that up to like between 50 and 100. It's fine.
Okay.
But at the moment it's around 30 to 50. Yeah.
And with the email collecting, are you still using Snowview, or are you using like a mass email finder?
No, still doing like a Snovio route with like, those types of tools. Apollo is another one we're using, and a Rocket Reach. still doing that for the
Because
more
I
kind
was-
of sniper approach?
Because I was sort of like trying to figure out how to do that, like with my lead sources, because like if they're going to be bringing in like 50 to 100 leads, I'm like, wouldn't it be better if they were using something like any email finder
Yeah,
where you upload like 100 emails or
yeah, you can definitely
Yeah.
do that. Say that again.
I'm saying, do you have any experience with that? Because Snowview is sort of manually, it's what we're currently using. But have you had experience with something like any email finder or something like that?
The only kind of mass one like that I use is Never Bounce.
Never Bounce.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's where you like upload
Okay, yeah,
like
I'll give that.
yeah, you upload like a list into it, and then it'll produce like 91 verified. That was the last list I did. It's just why I use that. Basically produces or gives you a list back.
Yeah.
91 are verified. You just download that and you can upload that straight into Lemlist, and you know it's 100% deliverability.
Oh, okay, yeah, got that. Lastly, is there any pro tips that you have for sort of like, how can I say, like kind of like personalizing the email, but while still going the scripted route?
Yeah, for sure.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's so many ways. I mean, giving you specific right now it's a bit difficult, but like there's so many ways you can do that. Think like almost think along the lines of, you know, those I don't even know what they're called, you know, like the personality stuff, like when you answer like a bunch of questions, right? And then it gives you like, oh, you are this, and then it explains it, and you're like, oh my God, that is me. Like I am like that, right?
Yeah.
But anybody can read that, and it applies to everybody. I think there's a word for it where it's, I can't remember, but that's the idea, right? Anybody could read that email. If you own an ecom brand, anybody could read that email and they think it's written to them. It's written specifically for them.
Yeah.
So think in that mind, and yeah, there's so many ways. Like for example, it's very basic. I wouldn't use it, but you know, you can say, came across your Instagram, absolutely love your page, right? Don't use it. It's a terrible example, but that's the idea. Like any ecom brand is probably going to have an Instagram page, and it's probably going to be okay, you know? And especially if you're picking them as well like that, and or it's via a lead sourcer, then you just say one of your qualification points, right? Like seeing that you're running roughly 15 ads right now, right? If you're reaching out to brands who are running between 10 to 20 ads, say I can see you're running roughly 15 ads. That's pretty, you know, direct.
Yes, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thanks for that, man. I get the idea of what you're trying to say, man. But thanks so much for your time, Kai.
Awesome,
you have a lovely day, man.
Likewise, man. We'll speak soon.
Speak soon, brother. Have a good one.
Likewise, dude. All right. Krishnav, it's called the Barnum effect. I would never have guessed that. Okay. Apparently it's called the Barnum effect, guys. But yeah, definitely use that in your outreach because it works a charm. All right, Sebastian.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you, man?
Man, I'm so terrific. How are you doing today?
I'm good, dude. I'm good. Bit tired, long week, but doing well.
Okay, yeah. No, I slept today out a bit. But man, I'm feeling so great. Yeah, I'm really happy to be today on this call, and my questions are, the first one is, I've watched your YouTube video and it gave me really clarity how to track and whatnot. You said you will come up with the kind of video how you set up the UTM tracking and that type of stuff. When do you come with this video, and is this kind of like copy paste? Because I'm still, you know, a bit confused about this UTM stuff.
It's in the group. Have you
it's
seen
in the group?
Yeah, have you not seen the video that's in the group?
Wait.
Yeah. I put it out last Saturday. So like a week ago.
Damn, I gotta check that out. I can't even. Damn. Yeah, I gotta check that out. Sorry for that. I searched it, but I couldn't find it. But yeah, and I also currently got a person on, who is an info product client, but this is kind of like not qualified in terms of a client. He don't want to do contracts, and he wants to run like 2 to 3 agencies simultaneously, and look who's outperforming. But the reason why I'm still considering to working with him together, because my media buyer is a beast, also an info product, and he's saying like, okay, we can, we start with $250 per day ad budget, and then if we say, hey, that's working with you, we scale it up to 2 to 3 to 5K per day. So that's the reason why I'm here considering still doing that for that 1 month and looking at. And he said, we only get paid, 10% of that what we are generating him. So at the first place, it's very important that we get the UTM thing set up, but I will check out the video. And the second thing is, he said it's also very important that we, we get paid what's on the dashboard, but we only get paid if the first contact was the Facebook ads. So is he basically saying that we don't get access to his bottom and middle of the funnel, and we just running ads based off the Facebook of the, the cold audiences?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I don't like that at all, because he wouldn't have got that sale if it wasn't for your retargeting ad. Like, the reason retargeting does so well, yes, it's because they've had touch points previously, whether that be through your ad, whether that be through search, whether that be through another medium of whatever they're doing. But it's thanks to that ad that they actually purchase, because he would have lost that customer if he didn't actually run the ad. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they didn't buy in the first time around, because it wasn't enough. But your retargeting ad made it enough for them to go ahead and buy. So you should still get compensated for that, because it's because of you that you got the, they got the purchase. So, I mean, I would explain that to him, to be honest, because it is still, you're doing. So yeah, that's what he means though.
I mean, he wrote, I asked him, does it mean that we only can target cold audience? I asked him today, and he said before that, strictly upfront profit, or even if someone saw the ad and bought 3 days later, but basically on the front end funnel. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, I don't like it. He's trying to he's trying to basically pay you for 50%. Like, he's trying to make you do 100% of the work and only compensate you for 50 of it. You know what I mean? Because top of funnel, for somebody to purchase the first time around on top of funnel, that's only probably not even 50% of it, right? That's just such a small part. It's super important, but not many people do it. That's why retargeting middle and bottom is so important. So
now makes 100% sense, and I'm glad I got clarity now on that. I mean, I think his reasons, because he said, hey, I'm gonna try 2 to 3 agencies and let them run from this different business manager and look who is outperforming. I guess that is the reason, because if 3 agencies simultaneously running retargeting ads, that will mess up the whole thing. I would 100% discuss that with him if he says that. I mean, he has to choose one agency, because it's as you said before, we're not getting paid what we deserve, because it's really the cold funnel who is buying. I mean, his program is about $30 per month. I mean, that's cool work, but it's not the full service we're here providing. But we'll be dope as clients, 200K on Instagram, really good foundation.
I wouldn't even do a performance base with him if that's his offer.
Yeah, that's the thing, he was pretty, and I could feel that energy he was transmitting at the call. It was really strictly based on numbers, and I don't want to, get into a contract. I don't want to pay flat fee, only 10%, that type of stuff. So that was what I'm also thinking about. Is this something I want to work with?
Is he talking about 10% return or 10% on revenue?
He said 10% of the profits, easy math.
Won't work.
No work?
Won't work. No. That will never work. It will never work, because funnels like that, right, where it's $30 a month, always you lose money on the front end every single time. There's no way you can be tremendously profitable on the front end on an offer like that. It will not work. So there's no percentage that you could take of the profits because there is none in the ads manager. The profits are the fact that you've paid $90 to get a $30 customer, no profits. But then over 3 months you break even. And if he has a 12-month average retention rate for these customers, then it's his pure profit is from the 3-month mark to the 12-month when they on average drop off. That's pure profit. That's where he makes his money.
Yeah.
But you're not getting paid. You're not getting thingied for that, right?
Yeah.
You're only getting it on the ads manager. So that either has to be a flat fee, client. Otherwise it's not going to work. Or you set up a deal where he figures out how much, okay, $30 a month, my average lifetime value of one of these customers is around, they stay for 12 months. Perfect. 30 times 12 X. Okay. Now you get a percentage of that number. So every single customer that signs up, you get X amount. That's the only other way that's going to work. If he's not willing to do that, do not bring him on board because you won't be profitable in the ads manager. You just won't.
Yeah, this, bro, I'm so happy that you brought that up. It's like giving me so much clarity right now. And this makes 100% sense. Not for real. I really appreciate that so much.
Of course.
So it's like, it's just in order to understand that the front end is really when they like buying the product, like really click, and after watching the webinar, buying the product, and the back end is then just like getting up the value ladder, like upsells and that type of stuff, or like even paying after the months because it's a monthly payment process, right?
Yeah, not even upsells. Like even if he's upsells as well. But even if he's even if he has no upsells in place and he has a 12-month average retention rate for these customers that are paying $30 a month, well, the front end is them going from the ad to the landing page and the $30, they're paying the $30. The back end is then paying that $30 next month, month after, month after, month after. That's where he makes his money because he's paid 100. Even if you pay $90, easy numbers, even if you pay $90 to acquire a customer, that's fine, right? That's fine because he's going to break even in 3 months time with that customer, but he's got 12 months average retention rate or whatever his numbers are. But that's where he makes his profit. Whereas if you're doing a percentage deal on the profit in the ads manager with a client like that, it's never going to work because you're never going to be profitable on the front end ever.
Yeah. Damn.
It's not going to work. So you can't position your pricing like that.
Okay. I'm curious what he's saying and basically also what he's like structuring in terms of.
Well, he thinks that you're going to be able to get a customer for $10 or whatever. You're going to have profit in the ads manager, right? Pay $10, you get $30 sale.
Yeah, like
that's what he thinks. So he thinks you'll be able to do your profit on the $20 basically. It's never going to work like that. Never on an offer like that.
Like, I mean, I'm thinking about why he's like structuring like that, because he's saying like an online course where he builds out Facebook ads for affiliate marketing and letting run that. So he has already like run very good, like 4x ROAS campaigns. But I'm thinking about why he's structuring like that. But this is just like ripping off basically, right?
I mean, no, it's a good structure for him. Like that's a good business model.
But for us as an agency with 10% of that, that's like.
Yeah, well, he clearly is clearly not a good client, right? He doesn't care about it or care about he's just trying to get something for nothing, right? That's the perfect sign of a bad client.
Yeah.
Perfect example, I should say, of a bad client.
Yeah. Damn, that's so insane. It's like you have to experience a bad client in order to know what's a good client is. And that's a perfect experience here right now. And I appreciate that so much that I got here the calls. And I don't want to get too much into that, but bro, like the $500 I've invested in this program was the best decision I've ever took in my whole life. Now I've spent 2.5K on other courses where they're telling me shit, but you're over delivering every time we're in this hall. We're every Friday on this call. We can answer all our questions. And I love the community where each and other helping out, making looms in the group. Like this is so perfectly. This is like, I haven't ever been in this cool program, and I love to see it grow, and I love to see also your journey and that. So I appreciate it so much, Kai, for real.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate the feedback. It's good to hear. And yeah, obviously community in here is second to none. I genuinely think. So yeah, it's good to hear you finding value, man. I'm really glad.
Yeah, man. Nah, for sure. Yeah. So that's basically it so far with my questions. As mentioned before, really appreciate the time. Really appreciate that it gave me clarity on that. And have a nice night. And hopefully talk soon, bro.
Yes, sir. We'll speak soon. Awesome. Camille.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, dude. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Good.
I just have 3 questions, just quick questions. I'm going to be starting my outreach on Monday, but I was thinking on this weekend to start doing prospecting, build up a list of 100 clients, and then do 25 every day. I've warmed up my email for the past like 2 weeks now. I was just wondering, have you tested when you were doing outreach yourself before you got someone to do it for you, gathering a list of like prospects on the weekend, so that during the week you don't have to do, you only send out the emails and then you can focus on something else? Or have you always done getting 20 clients or 25, however, and then sending out the emails every single day?
No, man, that's fine. That's completely fine. I always did it like the split, right? But that's just because it worked for me, my days and stuff like that. But yeah, doing that on the weekend is completely fine.
It's just
and you can triple down in your emails then in the week.
Oh yeah, because I have work in the evening, so I have a very limited amount of time that I can do. That's what lead sourcing. So I was just thinking for like time efficiency, if I can focus on the weekend and during the week in the morning, I could just send it out as much as I can.
That's fine.
You see, I came into the course in November. I actually was on a call before. I don't know if you remember. It was like ages ago, like 2 months ago. And during that December period, I sort of like fell off. I didn't I stopped doing everything. But now I want to get back into it. And I went through your course again, took down notes on it again. But in that November period, I started reaching out to clients, and some clients were, they were rewatching, not rewatching, but they were reading the emails a lot of the times. But I just haven't followed up with them ever since that November period. Would you say getting back in touch with them, but creating a new email would be a better way as opposed to following up under the same email I sent like 2 months ago? Or would you say create a new email and just start off as if I'm brand new reaching out to them?
As in a new thread?
Yeah. As in a new email thread, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could. How was, like, you looking back? Were your emails previously like good?
No, I wouldn't say so. I was getting viewing, like they were viewing it multiple times, and never a reply. And when I look back at them, I don't really think they're the greatest that I could do at the time. I think.
I would just create a new thread, reference that you've reached out to them before. Actually touch base with you back in November of 2020. Hope you got through the year well. Just wanted to reach back. I would reference it, but yeah, just do it in a new thread then.
Okay. And on Levelist, I was reading one of their articles, and they were saying that you can, when you're lead sourcing, when you find out information about the client, the name and the email, they call it the tiramisu, I think, technically, something like that, where you get, like, if the first line is, like you're saying, it's personalized, and then the rest, obviously, you can script it. Do you know, is that considered a scripted email, or a scripted email just top to bottom? It's you write it out, and then in Lemlist you just create the follow-ups every single day? Or can you use that Lemlist fills in that first line of however the brand was?
Yeah, when I reference a scripted email, I would say it's top to bottom entirely scripted, for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously within Lemlist, you can use the first personalized line in the email script. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And have you noticed, I don't know if you've done this before, but adding like GIFs or emojis to the email, have you noticed any success rates with them where you include like a GIF
Yeah.
or like emojis in your emails?
Not so much emojis. GIFs do well because it catches attention and it's a bit different. And obviously you can do those. One thing I've never used it, but you can do those personalized kind of GIFs or images with Lemlist.
Mm-hmm.
And they can do really well.
Okay. I just one last question. It's more so on the mindset, I would say. So I watched one of your video yesterday where you talked about I can't exactly remember the name of it. Was like you basically saying that this got you from this state from such to such like amount per month, and you talked about machine learning and evolution. Was there a part in your agency life where you had like a mindset shift? Like, because at the start, I know one of the guys was asking you that he saw where you were, and you said that you were earning between that 2 to 4K mark, and then once you left school, it sort of rapidly increased for you. Was there something that you've done? Was it something that you've read online, or something like that changed your perspective on it? Because business is a lot. I mean, obviously it's numbers, and you have to have this. I don't know, like 10% locus, but the rest is up to you. Was there something that you've done that sort of put the odds more in your favor, or would you just say it was just because you were doing it for such a long time? It just happened naturally. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope I'm phrasing the question correctly.
No, of course. So, I mean, you've watched my videos. You probably know my take on mindset and stuff like that. So I wouldn't dedicate it to anything like that. Like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have like a realization. I was like, oh my God, I can make 20,000 a month. And then I just went and made it. You know what I mean? Like at that time when I went through that, like I kind of blew up. It was like a 3-month period where I went from that, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 to 20,000 in a 3-month period. Now that wasn't starting, day one. 3 months later, I was at 20 grand a month because I've been doing it for years, but I've been kind of handcuffed because I was at school. Now that's not an excuse, but I kind of did see it as an excuse. I never wanted to take action. I just wanted to consume as much as I could during that time. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's got anything to do with any realizations or mindset stuff. Like I said, I wasn't like, a lot of people, like to tell themselves that they can do it and whatnot. But like, I didn't tell myself, like I said, I didn't tell myself that I could do it. And then I was like, oh my God, I can do it. Okay, let me just do it then. It's out of touch with like the reality. It's ridiculous. What it was more about for me was the fact that, I mean, a big part of it was I could only operate at like 30% while I was at school, right? So there's physically only so far, you can only go so far when you're operating at 30%. So one of the big things when I left was I was then operating at 100%. So that instantly boosted things up. There was that. There was the natural process that you go through as you sign your first couple clients, right? As the saying goes, when it rains, it pours. I signed your first couple clients I would say my first couple clients was like 4 to 6K a month. And then once you get to that range, like I was talking about before, I don't know if you was on the call, about that, 5 to 10K a month. It's basically like, I see it because of my experience, it's kind of the inflection point in your agency. So you see the money coming in, you can see what's achievable, right? You can see that you can get clients on board because you've gone through this process. But if you're at between 5 and 10K a month, you'll have probably multiple clients. So some sort of process works because you've eliminated any possibility of flukes. You've not just sent one email and fluked it and got a client. No, you've got 2, 3 clients. And then that's where that confidence starts to build. And then obviously that's kind of like looking at your agency from like a bird's eye view, but then going deep in your agency, looking at your client acquisition, your emails, that's where your evolutions happen. You know what I mean? Like that's where you can see, okay, this email structure with this in the back end is killing it for me right now. Let me just ramp that up. Let me scale it up. Let me bring on an SDR and or appointment setter or a lead sourcer even, you know, and then you can start to ramp that up. And then that's where that kind of then scales up. You go from 10 meetings a month to 20 meetings a month. You go from signing 2 clients a month to signing 4 clients a month, you know? So that's where you kind of, it's not really ever exponential growth, because that can obviously break, right? It provides a lot of, it's got the ability to break if it's exponential with an agency or any sort of service-based business. But a bit off topic, but I suppose you get my point, right? That was kind of how I seen my growth, looking back and experiencing it. That's how I see my growth. It was more the fact that I could operate 100%, and just the natural idea of once you get your first couple clients, you start to see certain procedures that just work. So you just ramp those up. And then you've got the back end. Now the back end was where I failed when I was ramping up. I will say that, you know, because I didn't get a team member on. I wanted to try and keep all the profits. I tried to get to, I did get to 10 clients and then I couldn't handle it. And then I lost clients and stuff like that. So then I dipped. But then because, again, that was still me evolving, right? Even though evolving is not always like that, right? It's when you dip and you lose a huge client for whatever reason, well, that enables you to evolve. And that's what happened with me. So then I started to look at the back end, my team, and that's when I started to really focus on the team. And then that enabled me then to scale not only back up, but way past where I was previously, you know, where I dropped from. I was able to scale back up to that point, but then way past it. And then that's obviously where I became a big believer in service delivery, right? A section that nobody talks about in the agency space is always about getting clients, but obviously service delivery is huge. So yeah.
That's crazy, man, because like I was watching before you, I was watching other people's content as well, and a lot of them not sell you, but they emphasize the emotional side of the agency, or like, you know, that you, by doing this you can get this for yourself, or doing this you can get that for yourself, whereas your content was more so logic and utility. Yeah. And have you always been like that? Have you always, or have you, or would you say once you started getting into business, that's when you became like more logical and less, obviously the emotion side is still there, but you became more logical when you started growing?
No, I think I've always been like that, to be honest. And it's just kind of translated into business, to be honest. I think, like, thinking back, like, obviously there's not too many like black and white experiences like it is in business. Like, you can be very emotional or you can be very data driven and logical. But I would say, I've always been like that. Like, I've never been a big, like, I know it works. This is why I don't really talk too much about it, because I know some people hugely benefit from meditation, from manifestation, from executing the law of attraction. They massively benefit from it. And that's amazing. I love that. And I still do elements of it, right? Like, if you don't think you can get to a level, then you're probably not going to take the necessary actions to get to that level. So there's an element to it, but I just think a lot of people they just take it too far, and then they wonder why they're not where they want to be. They wonder why they're not at that number that they tell themselves that they can get to, right? They wonder why they're not there. And then you look at what they've been doing for the last 6 months, and they've been sat in the room telling themselves that they can get there. That's all they've been doing. And it's like, well, you're not going to get there by telling yourself. You need to tell yourself that you can get there. Yes, you need to, believe that you can get there 100%. But then you need to, okay, cool, I can get it done. I've told myself that. Forget that. Let's get there now. And the way that you get there is by actually sitting down and taking action, as cringy as it sounds. But you know what I mean? Like, you just can't get there if you don't take the action and you don't do what's required. And that's what I see a lot of people doing wrong when they're starting out. The meditating, they're doing this, they're manifesting this and that and whatever. And you look at them and like, well, what have you actually done? Like, oh, I've not done anything yet, but I know I can get to 100K. It's like, okay, cool. But what are you doing? You know what I mean? So that's
a lot of
kind of my take. And obviously you can see that in my content, right? Like, I don't talk about, like, Yeah,
You're
like
just straight to the
mindsets.
point.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a lot more utility. Do this, do this, do this, and you're probably going to get this result. With the programs, right? Do this, do this, do this, and you're going to get this result. You know, and that's just how I've worked. And it's evident that I think a lot of people are similar, but obviously they're limited to that type of content, and that's obviously where I kind of tried to come into the industry, and it seems to have worked pretty well. So.
No, thanks, man, for the content. It really does help. Sort
Yeah,
of,
of course, man.
Shines a light on not thinking that everything is in your head, but you actually have to go and do things that you say to do, not just believe in. Oh yeah, I believe I'm gonna. Well, like I said, I believe I'm gonna get to 20K a month. But if you're not putting in any action, and yeah, I'm best of luck, man, on your road to 100K. I know that's a goal you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Best of luck with that, man. I'm gonna go off now. I have work soon, but I wish everyone all the best. See you.
Awesome, dude. Likewise. We'll speak soon. All right. Is it Can I forgot from last week. I know you corrected me.
Yeah, man, you got it right on.
I got it right. Perfect. How you doing, man?
Yeah. Doing all right, man. So this client that I have, we're spending, when I was telling you, we're spending around 60K a month in ads.
Yeah.
The ads are doing okay. They were doing okay, but like as of recent, they've just been starting to bomb. Like, and I'm trying to really nail down what's the issue here. So yesterday I had to call my media buyer and I took a look into the edit history of the ads. Because some are performing at like 10x ROAS for like 2 weeks, and then they went down to like a 1. And I'm like, what are you doing here that's making them to drop so much? And she's like not really like explaining. So I went to the edit history and I see how she basically doubled the budget on some of the ads. So my consensus was, okay, maybe it's like a budgeting issue. You're scaling too fast. You're like pushing the ads too hard and they break. This morning, I was like, what I was going to tell her was, let's just wait. I didn't. I told her, I was like, hey, start to like decrease the budget slowly on some of these ads and let's see if they kind of reset. But this morning, we're like not even at a 1 ROAS. And it just looks really bad. Like I spoke to my client yesterday and I was like, honestly, we're doing okay because, over the course of a week, we're at like a 3+. Can I show you my ads manager and have you take a look?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me share a portion of the screen. How much can you see?
Yeah.
All right, are you looking at the ads manager?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
God,
yeah. Just clicked off.
How about now? Can you see my tabs?
Yeah, I can see the ads manager. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see like the top of the tabs area?
No.
Or you see a portion of the screen?
Yeah, I can just see a little bit above. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me move this up. All right. So today we're at a 0.74, which is like absolutely atrocious. It's never been that low ever. But on the 24th, let's go back to the 24th. We had a 5.62 ROAS. For the life of me, I don't know why anything changed from that point. The next day we had a 5.19 ROAS. And on 26th, we had a 3.08, so starting to decrease. Really wasn't freaking out too much there. Figured it was just maybe an off day. And we went to a 2.16. Then yesterday we were at a 1.45, and now this morning we have fucking tanked. And we are at a 0.74. So I went to the edit history of the ads, just trying to figure out, okay, what happened from here to here. And let me just pull up like some like what I see. So this is the 24th. This one we spent 268 or 286 and got 2600. So let me go back. So now I'm just gonna I'm gonna show you the history from, let's say, the 20. Can you see?
Yeah. Okay. So you said that a lot of or a big thing that happened was the ads, right? They got doubled.
Yeah, all the ad sets got, a lot of the ad sets that were doing like 10x, doing really well. Like before she started working with us, she doubled the budgets, and then they started to like, the performance was really bad.
So that was probably one thing that I would say. In cases like that, like we oftentimes, obviously there's two ways to scale, right? You can change the budget, change your number on the ad set, or you can duplicate. But what can happen when you change something that's working, it can obviously then hurt it. That could be something that's happened. I can see that as a very kind of, she's done this and now this is happening. So I would say it's something to do with her doubling the budgets or whatever. So what I would do, first things first, is I would duplicate the ad set itself and put it back to its original budget.
Okay.
Because what's that ad set running at for the last like 3 days?
So this one, retargeting.
Oh, she doubled that. She doubled the budget of a retargeting ad set.
Is that not good?
Well, did you double the budget of did you increase top of funnel?
I think it was top of funnel.
Oh, it was top of funnel. Okay. But just in general, though, like it doesn't need to, don't worry about like finding specifically just yet. Just in general, that's what can happen. Now, when you do that, and this is the issue. So whenever you make a new, when you like relaunch, republish or whatever, an ad set, what's going to happen is it's going to populate into a new audience, right? That's just what happens, like a different cluster of the broad audience, right? Because you're running an ad to audience of 2 million people. That isn't in that entire 2 million people audience, as you know. It goes to like 100,000 maybe or whatever. So what can happen when you change the ad itself and you republish? Well, it's going to reset it. And what's then going to happen? It's going to go out of the original cluster. It's going to go to a new cluster. Now, the same thing happens when you duplicate it, right? So when you duplicate it, it's not going to be the exact same cluster inside of that big audience. It's going to be a different one. However, the original one is still in the same original audience. So that's still going to perform because it's doing really well. If the duplicate doesn't do as well, then you can turn that off and you've not lost anything. You can just duplicate again and try and get to a different cluster. Whereas if you change the specific ad set itself, it's going to go into a different cluster. If that cluster doesn't work, you can obviously turn it off, but then you're going to lose the original performance of that original cluster.
Right. Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like just keeping the one that's already working and not messing with it and using the other one as like a test to see if you can perform well on that other cluster. So
if you want to, if you want to double the budget, just duplicate it and don't change anything. And then now it's 2 ad sets spending that amount. There's you double the budget, right? But if that starts to flop, the duplicate doesn't work as well. Well, first of all, it's because it's in a different cluster, and that's fine because you can just turn it off, right? Okay. It's not the main one. It kind of holds the similar traits as like burner accounts, right? Like with your emails. It's the same kind of domain, but if it doesn't work, you can just throw it out. It's not your main one. It's the same thing here, right? The original ad set that's at the 10 ROAS that's killing it, that can just stay on. You don't need to touch it.
So I'll show you really quickly here. So from the 1st to the 13th, which is prior to us working together, her ad sets were doing decently well. A couple of them were doing really well. So I'll show you one. Let's see. This one was a pretty good example. I think it was 5. This one was a good example. So that's one. Okay. Give me a second, man. I don't know if my computer's hot because the sun's blazing. Let's see. Okay, so here's one. So you can see it's doing really well. I'll look at the full edit history because I'm trying to determine the exact date. But if I go to, I click on this. As I go here, see history. So okay, so it was updated here. She increased the budget. And then from here on down, it just started to just like tank. You know, I've noticed that with a couple of ad sets. So I guess my question is, okay, if this is the issue, is there a tactful way to bring the ROAS back up some without looking like we don't know what the hell we're doing? Because it's just like, it's just so sticky right now. Like they're spending a lot of money, and I know these people kind of personally, and don't want to put my foot in my mouth here.
Yeah, of course. I would suggest duplicating the ad sets that have that were doing really well originally. Duplicate them, put them back to the original budget, and that's what I would do first things first. I would also, I mean, it's difficult because you're trying to look at what was originally working, right? So it's like you don't really need to create any new ads. You don't need to do anything of that nature because it's like, well, it was working before. So, I mean, probably, yeah, like I say, the number one thing I would say is just duplicate things, put them back to normal budgets that they were originally at. Don't look at scaling just yet. Just try get things back on track. And also just doing the usual things of obviously rotating in new creatives and whatnot. I don't think it's a case of fatigue. Say that again.
How often do you rotate?
So we do new creatives fortnightly, ideally. We do new copy monthly.
Okay, so every 2 weeks something. So every 2 weeks you'll switch with the creatives, and then once a month for copy, just something different. Do you rotate like the copy from a different ad into another ad, or
if we
get like branding?
Like usually what we'll do that anyway, like the different variants if we can. Ideally ideally we like to try and add up or match creatives with the copyright, keep it congruent. Sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's completely fine. So in those cases, we'll try to figure out the best variations for sure. And that's during that kind of the testing phase. But yeah, fortnightly for creatives, and then copy is like, yeah, we'll do like maybe 3 to 5 new pieces a month.
Okay. So with this account, do you think that this may be one of those situations where I might be better off bringing in another media buyer and like trying to give them a shot at it? Because I don't know. I've just never seen like ROAS go down this much. Like, this is bad. I know, like yesterday I had that call with them and I was just like, no, let's not decrease the budget. Let's things work. Okay, let me ask you this question. Do you ever, like, how often do you see like a lot of volatility with ads and like performance from a day-to-day basis?
Nothing like this. I'll tell you that. Nothing like that. And it seems like with this, it's more of it's not really volatility. It's more of like just a downtrend. You know what I mean? There's like a difference. Yeah. It's something happened, and this is why I'm saying about the duplicates and increasing the budgets and whatnot. Something's happened and it's sparked a downtrend. What was that something? She's doubled the budgets. I don't think that's a big of an issue on her end. I mean, obviously, you know how, yeah, I mean, you know how she operates, you know what she's like as a team member. I would take that into account because this can be a lesson learned, So I don't think that's, it depends, right? I don't think you should make a decision just off of this on its own.
She's not a bad team member. Like she's good in terms of like communication and being on top of things, but it's just when it comes to performance, I'm starting to realize that she's kind of still learning. And I know you mentioned one time, sometimes it's better off to find someone that's kind of in the learning phase because they make good team members, and find experts going to be like someone's just going to, like, you know, not be a great team member. So I wanted to show you this. So we started working on the 13th, and from the 13th to the 23rd, we were at this ROAS. So it was kind of like an uptrend and a downtrend. So let's go to the 18th. That's when we managed all of her ads. We started off just with ours, and she said you guys can manage all of our ads. So we were at like a 3.18, 2.16 is when the whole attribution thing happened. Of almost a 4. Is that normal, like from 4 to 2.4?
2.5. Let's keep going through a sec.
Then, for the life of me, I don't know what the hell happened there, but whatever happened, it worked.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, it's nothing crazy, because what that's going to average out like, you know, 4, 3.5, probably more 3.5. And that's fine. It's not like it's 0.5, 4.7, 5, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like that. It's all profitable. It's just kind of ranging between 2.5 to 4 really on average. But this back end isn't normal, right? Obviously, that's definitely not normal. But yeah, that kind of volatility is okay, because as I say, it's going to average out to like a 3, 3.5, 4, and that's a great ROAS.
Okay, so I know today she told me, she was like, "Hey, I updated the audiences, scaled down a little bit, but today it's just really bad." Like, is that something that will happen whenever you update the budget or change anything? Does it send it back into learning and now it has to refigure things out? So it's doing this because we're trying to figure out, like,
not necessarily. It's going to rejig things for sure. I don't like the fact that she's keep changing the budgets and whatnot. Like, I think, like I say, I think you just need to look at duplicating things and try and get things back to how they were. keep changing the budgets up and down, round and round, that's gonna have a negative effect, because Facebook can't like optimize it, because it's like, okay, it's trying to work at a 500 a day budget for this ad set. Okay, let's try and, you know, work around that, rejig things around that, optimize it for that. Next minute it's back down to 250. Next minute it's 3. It just, yeah, that's never going to work. So it needs to be stable. And I think looking at duplicating it, like I talked about before, is probably going to be your best bet. And then maybe look at rejigging, like, or doing some refreshes on the ad front.
Okay. Well, one thing that she said that kind of was like a red flag. She was like, hey, like, I guess we had a CBO campaign, and I know you talk a lot about don't use CBO unless you're scaling. So I didn't realize that until last night. I was watching your Scaling Like a King module. So we're using a lot of CBO, and I noticed on one of the campaigns it was set to like 250 a day CBO, and I had 4 ad sets. She turned off 3, and that one ad set was doing like 7 ROAS before she turned off the other ones. Then it dropped down to like 2.6. And
yeah,
is that
yeah,
what happens when?
No, you don't need to turn off unless the ad set that or like maybe 2 ad sets, right? You got a CBO of like 4 ad sets, and one ad set in there is getting all the spend and it's doing the absolute worst. Unless that's the scenario, like you should never touch CBOs.
This is it right here. So let's see. So from 13 to 23, let's see. I think it's at 25 to 24, 29. Okay, so this one got a 7, this one got a 5, this one got a 3. She turned this one off. Then from 27 to 29, she turned one of them back on, I guess. But there was only one in
doing all that's not going to help. Turning stuff off and on, it's not going to help.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in the CBO, yeah, you shouldn't really touch it unless it's the rare occasion, like I say, where like one ad set's getting all the spend and it's actually doing the worst or whatever. That's a rare occasion. Unless that's happening, then you shouldn't touch CBOs because it's doing things in your best favor.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's in your best favor.
Right. Okay. Because she was going to turn off 3 ad sets and then leave one on, which is going to spend the entire campaign budget on one ad set that was already doing too well. I'm like, no, that's increasing the budget on one. Like you're about to triple the budget. It's going to break. And
yeah. And like I say, you should just leave it, right? Stuff that's working should just try and leave. Like we've gone through a bit of a phase where just scaling the budget slowly on the specific ad sets is not doing too bad. But we've actually found it's from client to client that happens. So for the most part, though, majority of the time, just keep things the same. If it's working, just leave it. With that, like I say, yeah, she shouldn't. I disagree with that, turning things off in the CBO, because she's got to think about the after effects. Okay, if I turn this off, what's going to happen? Well, all of that budget is now going to go into this one campaign. So I basically just tripled the budget. Should never triple a budget. You should, slowly work your way up to that point, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that's what she's done, and it's blown up in this specific campaign. So.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, I guess that answers my question, man. Appreciate it.
No worries, dude. All right. Mohammed. Oh.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, dude. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, great. So I just want to firstly say that I really loved the course. I found it really valuable, and really,
Good to hear.
especially your YouTube content. I think it's a lot more valuable than a lot of people, a lot of other people post. So I just wanted to mention that.
Appreciate that,
I have
man.
a few questions. No problem, no problem. So basically, the first sort of question that I wanted to ask was so when you say in the outreach section, you say send 100, like roughly 125 emails in a week. Is that just, I know this might be a bit of a stupid question, but is that just cold emails, 125? Or does that include follow-ups as well? Because then if you're sending 120 cold emails in a week, then you have to do follow-ups as well. And then wouldn't that like damage your email health if you're sending like 40 emails a day?
No, follow-ups on top, because follow-ups should always be replies, so it doesn't count as a new email.
Oh, okay. So that wouldn't affect like the email health or anything.
Correct.
Okay, brilliant. Now, secondly, I was wondering, when bringing on like a team member or a media buyer, do you think it's a good idea to like make some resources or like training for them just so that they do everything the way you teach in the course? Because I had a media buyer in the past, and it was a really bad experience. And I think maybe it's because I was a little bit too lenient in the interview process, but also I didn't try and train him or anything. So do you think it's worth it, like making any resources or some training for your media buyer?
Well, first things first, I push everybody to put their media buyer through the training itself in
Okay.
Quantum Leap, and I say the same thing for Centurion Agency as well. Put your team through it. If it's somebody for, you know, like an SDR or appointment setter or whatever, put them through the outreach section. Media buyer, put them through the service delivery week, and then for other stuff, I mean, like 0 to 10K, it's not something you really need to focus on. But like things like standard operating procedures, like SOPs and workflows, and productizing your agency is stuff that's super important for your team. But like I say, that's concepts we go through in Centurion Agency, which is obviously going from 10K to like, you know, 7 figures.
Yeah.
Going from 0 to 10K, I would say the biggest thing for you is just put your team through the training itself and other resources that you've naturally got access to as well, and ramp them up that way. You don't need to build specific stuff. And then once you break out the 10K mark, then you can look at really productizing your agency, building procedures that you just know work, and building, as I say, SOPs around those processes and systems that you know work. That's where you can start to go into that bit deeper. But for now, just give them access to your resources.
So just give them access to the training.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay. And also I wanted to ask, so what do you think would like you can do like in your spare time? Like let's say for example, I've done all my IPAs, I've sent out the emails and looms and everything. Is there any like books you could recommend, or like anything to watch to help you like get better at email copy?
For copy specifically?
Yeah, for more like for email copy and outreach and stuff, or like copy in general.
I would say copy in general, breakthrough advertising, scientific advertising, anything by David Ogilvy. For copy in general, like that alone will give you a bunch of stuff. For kind of sales and stuff like that, fanatical prospecting is probably one of my favorite on like outreach.
Okay, so breakthrough advertising, scientific advertising, and fanatical prospecting.
Yeah, anything by David Ogilvy.
Okay.
You've got Eugene Schwartz, you've got Claude Hopkins as well.
Okay, that's brilliant. Yeah, and one last question. So this is just sort of like a hypothetical situation I was just a little bit confused about in the sort of Facebook ads training. So let's say for example you've got a client, and it's been 3 days, 6 days, and nothing is working, like you're not really getting any purchases or any actionable data. Do you change the audience first, or do you change the image first, or do you change the ad copy first? What do you change first?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it depends on a lot of stuff. It depends on the inputs that you've got. like in terms of data that you've got, both on those ads specifically and on the ad account as a whole. Like if the ad account as a whole has got a bunch of data on there, you can obviously pull a lot. Like for example, if you go into an ad account, there's a bunch of data on there. You can see these three audiences, whatever those three audiences are, you can see that they're absolutely killing it, right? They do well with any type of ad, any type of copy, any type of creative, any type of offer. They do really well. If you go ahead and then you use those three audiences, and you change up the ads and they don't do well, you're not going to change up the audiences. You're going to probably change up the ads. So it depends on that. If you're testing everything, this is the difficulty about going into an ad account where there's nothing. You've got to test everything, right? You're literally creating the first ever campaign on the ad account. When you've got to test everything, it's a lot more difficult. So yeah, I mean, you want to try and test as much as you can. That's why a bigger budget, that's why the testing period is so important, because you don't know what it is. Is it the people? Is it not? You don't know. That's why you got to test everything. But I always say that copy, creative, the offer, and really just the ad overall is the most important thing. I always go creative, copy, offer, audience.
Okay, so creative, copy, offer, audience. That makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, man.
Awesome, dude. No worries. All right, Javier.
Hey man, how is it going?
Good, dude. How are you?
Really well. I just have a couple of questions.
Yeah, of course.
And for a multiple product store that has like low budget, like 3K per month, could you only focus on the bestseller, or how would be the which approach would you take?
I would definitely do the bestseller. I would definitely focus on the bestseller. Maybe the second best, but I would try and hone in on the bestseller.
And the second one is if, well, in that type of budgets or bigger budgets, do you drive traffic to different pages in each stage of the funnel, or you always go to the product page?
I mean, yeah, you want to try and go to the product page. If again, it depends, right? Like if it's a brand with like 3 products, then yeah, you just go directly to the product page. If it's a brand with like hundreds and hundreds of products, it's going to be pretty hard to pick out the best, like just one product to send all the traffic to. So then you maybe want to have a look at like collection pages and stuff. But I would mainly look at doing your top kind of 3 to 4 bestsellers, top of funnel. I mainly focus on product pages, and then retargeting and whatnot. If you're doing DPAs and stuff, then obviously that's kind of its own thing. But apart from that, like middle of funnel, I would probably look at collection pages.
Okay, thank you. Well, my last question is that for starting your agency, like, would you start in your own country? Like, I'm from Spain. Should I start in Spain, or it doesn't matter?
No, I recommend you do, to be honest. Like, you know, you're in a market where it's nowhere near as competitive, right? The Spanish market for agencies is nowhere near competitive as the English market with agencies.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're leaving a perfect market to go into an even more busy, as you know, the blue ocean strategy states, and more red ocean, right? When you've got this market here that it's kind of, obviously it's not untapped entirely, but yeah, it's nowhere near as busy as it is over here, or as it's saturated as it is over here. So I would definitely recommend going in your own market, to be honest.
Okay, thank you. I know that it's easier to get results for clients because the CPMs are cheaper and everything is cheaper.
Exactly. And you got nowhere near as much competition.
Yeah. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, was that all? Okay, cool. It was. Right. Is it Alexander?
Yes, what's up, man?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yes, it's Alexandre.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, mate, I had like just a quick question. I'm not gonna be long. Just to have like your insight, right? So this month, I think that I had probably like 10 to 13 calls. Hang on, I think that probably I will have, yeah, in total, like I would say 12 calls this month. And I wanted like to have like your opinion about like the number regarding getting to 10K and even like success regarding the agency. Do you think that 12 is a good number per month, or it's like too low for you in your opinion? Just so you know, currently I'm at like I would say 4K per month. So yeah.
12 sales calls a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And dude, the good thing as well is like you're getting 12. So you're getting that a month right now. Is that a number you're striving towards?
That's the amount that I have. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, you're getting 12 sales calls a month. You could very easily get 24 sales calls a month if you just double your output in your outreach, right? It's pretty basic. I'm pretty simple to do. So as soon as you have that ability to handle double the amount of clients signing every month, then you can 100% go for it. But yeah, just remember that like you can't sign any more than like 4 to 5 clients a month. If you sign any more than that, you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna break. So yeah, 10 to 20 sales calls a month qualified. It's a good number.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I feel relieved, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm like super stressed like all the time, like you for example, you get a client and you get like, I don't know, like 5 sales calls like a week, and you always feel like it's not enough, right?
Well, what do your numbers look like from closing percentage?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So I do 2 things, like, to be honest, right? So there's like the Facebook side, like inbound, right? That I'm using now. And there is like also the outreach, like cold emailing. So the thing is, with cold email, I have like a shitty closing rate. So I guess that it's probably because they don't have enough touch point or something, I'm currently like redoing my website just like yours, like the template that you gave. So I put like my logos, the brand I've been working with. I'm putting the client testimonials also at the end of my funnel and stuff. But yeah, the thing is, so I think that I have probably like a 5% close rate with a cold email. So that's super low, right?
That's where your focus needs to be. Don't worry about getting more calls booked. Maintain that. Maintain your 12 a month, 15 a month, 10 a month.
Yeah.
That's fine for now. Focus on getting more out of your squeeze. Don't look at ramping your numbers so that you're making 5% on 30 instead of 10. Don't do that. Focus on making that 5% 20%, because I promise you, as soon as you get your number to, I mean, the ideal rate, like what we look at in Centurion Agency is 40%, right? So the ideal rate of like roughly 30%, right, around that mark. If you're doing that on 12 calls a month, that's completely fine. Whereas because it's only 5%, you're looking at your numbers like, am I doing enough outreach? Am I getting enough calls booked?
Yeah.
You are. It's your sales, it's your closing. That's the issue at the moment.
Yeah, but so that's the thing. So I think that I will work that a bit more. But the funny thing is that with inbound, man, I have like a 40% close rate, like 45. So
that's like, always the case.
Fuck,
yeah, that's always the case. But get that code, get that code down packed, and then you'll never have to worry ever again.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we work on that. But like just like the last question. So just to understand, where do you think it starts to be the critical point in terms of meeting booked a month? So I mean by that, if I get less than, let's say, 9 sales calls or 8 sales calls or something, but what is the number for you that you think is critical?
Like if you're booking 1 a week,
yeah,
you need to be worried. If you're booking 2 a week, you're on the cusp. If you're booking 3 a week, that's okay. And yeah, kind of from that point. So like 12 is that's okay. 15, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's like 1 a week, if it's like 4 to 8 a month, that's where you need to be looking at your numbers a little bit more tightly and looking at what you're doing.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, probably like I have just a last question regarding the email outreach, right? I noticed that my interest rate is at 4%. So it means that on the course you talk about like the 7.5%, right?
Yeah.
If I recall well, I have like a 4%, and I mean, what do you think is the thing that has to change to increase that? I mean, what is, I would say, when you outreach, what was the thing that you changed that has the most impact in the interest rate that you are getting? Like, was it the case study?
Yeah, I mean, referencing a case study, like not an entire case study, but just dropping it in a little bit is really, really powerful. That's what I've got in my script at the moment. That's doing tremendously well. And it's an entire script. It's nothing's personalized. I say, we actually did this for this client last month, where we brought them in over 200,000 monthly recurring revenue, right? So just kind of name dropping and doing a bit of a case study like that does really well. Your CTA, of course, does well. And also the way that you position your agencies is another real powerful one, right? Not like we help e-commerce brands get to the next level. Like that's not going to do well, right? But when you say we add an extra 1 to 5 mil a year to our e-com clients' bottom line, and we actually did that last month for one of our clients, where we did, you know what I mean? Like that kind of really, really ramps things up. So yeah, that's one of the big things that I would do. And then obviously if you're doing personalization, then you can go pretty deep and pretty effective with that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And also your CTA has a big impact as well, I would say.
Yeah, because I noticed that, I mean, in my opinion, like I take like a lot of data, and what I noticed that had like the most impact was, as you said, the CTA. So I noticed that when I have like a case study instead of a call, I have way more people interested, because I think that they are, more interested. I mean, they have like something tangible that they can get right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, talking about the pain, I think that's a massive one as well. It makes the difference.
Yep. Following that structure that I did in a YouTube video, super powerful.
Yeah, I'm doing that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm monitoring like a hawk to see what happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But okay, cool. So thanks a lot, man, for the answers, and keep the good work, bro.
Of course, dude. No worries.
Bye. Yeah.
Speak soon. All right. I think last person, Krishnav. Good call tonight, guys. Good call.
Really valuable call. Sorry for jumping on again.
No
I
worries.
just had more questions, because then again it'll be 1 week before I can ask my unending questions. So first things first, I wanted to ask. So since I'm basically 17, I do not have any knowledge about where should I keep the money or reinvest it. So I'm slowly at a very small pace growing up my income. So what would be your suggestions on how should I manage the entire capital, like the money which I'm getting in? Where should I invest it? Should I not invest it? Should I keep it?
No, I don't think. What are you at a month right now?
I'm currently very low. I just have a lot of cash from the previous clients too, but it's just still there. I'm at literally at $500 per month with that is one client, and then the other one on a 15% return on ad spend. But we are still there's still much there to get any results and get money in.
Okay. At your stage, I can only speak from experience. At your stage, it sounds cringy, right? But putting it back into yourself is going to be the biggest. I think that's gonna. Well, it is without a doubt. It's going to have the highest ROI. Like it just is, right? We look at investing and we look at putting our money in places where we're going to get the biggest return. Putting it in yourself at the stage that you're at is going to give you the biggest return. Trust me.
Like courses and stuff.
Programs, yeah. And like obviously other variants of that. Like for me, I spent like a bunch of different places that I put it. But I spent like, I don't know, it was like 50 grand in like a couple months that I put back into myself, I suppose. My team as well, right? Like that was another thing that's super powerful. Programs and training and whatnot for my team. Stuff like that is going to have the biggest, the highest ROI, the highest return for you right now. I wouldn't look at investing in like stocks or whatever. I wouldn't look at that at the point that you're at the moment.
Okay, so right now I don't like the cash just sitting around because I feel like it's still depreciating, even if it is like very, very small value. It's like, as you said, it could be better investing in myself. So like, what are the topics which would be good to develop in myself? So what would be the topics or people I should look forward to or follow, or any kind of courses I should get on the topics? Any advice on that?
Just ramping up your agency and ramping up your business.
Okay.
Like that's gonna, like, put it this way: if you can get your agency right now from like 500 a month to even $5,000 a month, right? Not even like the huge potential numbers, very, very easily achievable numbers that you can get to, right? Even if you went from 5,000 to 500 to 5,000 a month, that's 10x every month. Or that's 10x in your first month, and you're going to get that $5,000 again and again and again. You know what I mean? Like nothing's going to pay you more than that.
Okay.
So just
something related to agency and ads and stuff.
Yeah, building your agency, ramping things up, high level programs, stuff like that. I like I said, I just try and think back to like when I first got a little bit of money, and I was making, well, I think I started that bit of a process when I was making like 20,000 a month, but the same idea still applies to you. Yeah, that's what helped me the most. Okay. I'm still not heavy. I'm about to get into like more the investing side and stuff like that. But right now I still don't have a cent invested in anything.
Okay. Okay.
It's just been going back into myself, into the business, into the team, into stuff like that. I recommend the same.
Okay. And second question. So do you recommend getting so I also asked this in the chat, but do you recommend getting a credit card for like building up the credit score and stuff at 17 right now?
Yeah, it can only help.
Okay.
For
and
sure.
Next, what's your opinion on Clubhouse? I recently got on. I've been connecting to great people. I feel like I could build like there are possible people who could be clients, but I don't have a proven process yet. I'm still trying to discover that. But like, what's your opinion on that?
I've heard mixed stuff. I had a client reach out to me today asking if I was on it. And yeah, I've been offered so many invites. I didn't even realize that you have to be invited or whatever. I'm not on it, first of all. So I can't really have a strong opinion. I don't really know. I think it's like, from what I've gathered, it sounds like almost like the TikTok of business that's like full of gurus. That's what I've gathered. I don't know if that's right or anything. I told my client that, and he was like, yeah, you're very smart. It kind of is. I was like, yeah, I kind of gathered. But then I've also heard on the flip side, like, you know, a couple of people I've spoke to mentioned that, like, you know, they know a few others who have signed clients through it and whatnot. So yeah, put it this way, I won't be joining anytime soon. Yeah, if you're able to make a return from it, I don't see the issue.
You were the first person I searched when I hopped on. I got the invite and I searched. I was like, whoa, he's not there. Most of the people I know are not there yet. So it's still a very new space. Yeah. So
maybe I'm being pessimistic about it. Maybe I'll be on there. I'll be like trying to search for an invite. Like, guys, can I get one? Can I get one? Maybe I'll be like that next month. But as of right now, I've not even thought about it. I just think it's, like I said, I think it's like the TikTok of business, full of fake, full of gurus.
Makes total sense. I have an invite in case you ever need. The value you provide, I could do this much in return. So ever
I appreciate that.
You could join in. But I agree with what you're saying. So next question would be something related. Just a second, I write down my stuff. But like, so with the cold looms, as I asked before, so I am sending cold looms again to some of the leads, which I reached out way back when my email was not at all as good as it is right now. I mean, it's not that great right now too, but like it has improved, and from the iterations and stuff, it has still improved. So I touched down, I found some of the clients, some of the leads from my previous list who are still on like 12 or 15 ads. And I thought of sending them cold looms. Do you recommend sending them in a new thread? Because the reason why I'm thinking of sending in a new thread is because just to change the way to position the CTA and to position my service and everything, because they did not.
Yeah, just reference the fact that you've reached out before. Just reference the fact that you've reached out before. But yeah, just do it in a new thread. Simple.
Okay, makes sense. And with the cold emails and the cold looms, if I wanted to do both right now, because I have time and I'm not at that scale yet, what would be the schedule, or how many cold looms should I send a day while I'm also sending emails? Or do you recommend just sticking to one, and what all days should I send it?
Just stick. No, you don't need to stick to one. I actually actively recommend mixing it up. But in terms of how many, it's not a question of that. It's just what you can handle, what you can do. Obviously, it's not going to be 50-50. It's probably going to be 20 emails with like 5 to 10 looms, something like that.
Okay. Makes sense. So, and also, do you recommend sending emails on a Saturday and Sunday? Or no?
No, I don't have it set up.
They have good open rate.
We don't have it set up like that at the moment. However, I've heard that it works really well. So.
Okay. And last question would be with the personal brand on Instagram. I asked this way back to you regarding this. So I just refreshed and created like a fresh new account. So I just have like 90 followers on that, and most of them are from Clubhouse. But how do you? So I want to send DMs. I want to try that outreach too. But I don't think anyone would believe in a person who has like 90 followers. How do you suggest going about increasing the followers or building a personal brand there? Because I don't know.
Don't build a personal brand. What, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Don't build a personal brand. I spoke about this last week. Go back and rewatch that call. I went pretty deep in personal branding for the agency and stuff like that on last week's call, and how you can do it with YouTube and how it kind of ties in with Instagram. But don't focus on like running ads to build your followers or anything like that. Like it has like a perceived, it increases your perceived status only very much. It's only very quickly, right, on that very first touch point. As soon as they dig deep, whether you've got 9,000 followers, 900,000 followers, or 9 followers, the content of the Loom video or whatever it is, that takes over. You know what I mean? Like that,
Okay.
that just takes over. So obviously you want to make sure that your profile is, you know, it's clean and it's effective in terms of, you know, it looks professional and stuff like that. But yeah, don't worry about building up your followers and stuff. Like, look at my profiles, you know what I mean? Like, I've got like 4,000 followers on my main.
You have like a quote unquote very minimalistic profile here on Instagram. Looks
Yeah,
very
exactly.
soothing though.
Exactly. I don't post on there really ever. I obviously am active on my stories, but you get the point. Like I'm not a fan of building Instagram, to be honest. I think YouTube and Facebook is a far more effective personal brand to build.
Okay, makes total sense. And coming to my last question, as you mentioned with Kani, I think it was Kani who was speaking to after me regarding this. But just regarding your journey, like after school, when your agency severely scaled up, if you do not believe in mindset, which most of the people in the industry do speak about, but you're more you are more logically into the stuff, which I like more in my case. But what did you different? Because what did you do different after that? Like, what do you think you did different in your agency? Because the reason I'm asking is I am even with 500, just to give you like a realistic view, even with 500, it's a very low amount. But like I'm making an average teacher's salary here in India, and it's good amount to live a normal and good life. But obviously I want to scale up. But my question is, I had just have one more year before I go to college, and I wanted something realistic before going to college. Or do I even have to go to college? Because I have zero plans for college. I wanted to build something around myself. This is why I got into this space. And do you think, first of all, is college and the agency possible to like work together on? Or second, if not, I just have 1 year and I want to make most out of it, so that I have something to show that why I'm not going into college for myself and also my family. But what did you do different regarding this? I hope the question is I hope I was clear with the question. I got a little confused here.
I'm not too sure of the question. What do you mean by what did I do differently?
The first question is what in regarding to when you left school, what did you do differently? How did you scale so fast after leaving school? Obviously you had more time, but like what are the stuff that you theoretically changed in your processes that made you scale up? And second, do you since I just have 1 year, that is why I am asking this question, that how, so that I can make the most out of my agency and I have something to show to myself and my family that the reason why I'm not going to college. And my second question would be, even if I go to college, is it possible to manage the agency and college together, or I'll have to choose one?
No, it's definitely possible. I know people who are doing it at a very high level in both their agency and what they're doing at uni. You don't, I don't want to, yeah. I mean, you'd probably know my thoughts on uni and whatnot. Like if it's to become like a doctor or a lawyer, a nurse, anything like that, it's amazing, right? Because you have to go. But if it's anything to do with like business or anything like that, like, yeah, I mean, you either know my take on it, or you can probably guess what my take on it is.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, yeah, it's the exact same question as I think it was Camille asked before, in terms of how I ramped and whatnot. So just go back and re-listen to that. But to be honest, it was nothing like, oh, I did this and that scaled me up. It was just the accumulative kind of effect that happened after years of being in the space and learning and understanding and all that type of stuff. It was just that when I was able then to go from 30% input to 100% input, my output went from, you know, 30% of its capabilities to 100% of it. that's where the ramp came from. That's where the increase came from. So it wasn't really about, oh, I changed up my outreach method and now I got this, you know what I mean? It wasn't about that. It was just more that was the bigger factor for me. And then obviously, as I say, I was able to ramp, and then I was able to evolve at a much quicker rate. And once you get past the 10, 15K a month, that's when, again, the concepts I spoke about before really fall into play. And that's how you can then obviously ramp up. It's like going from 50K to 100K a month. It's so much quicker, so much easier, so much more achievable in a such shorter amount of time than it is going from 0 to 50K a month.
Makes sense. Okay. Thank you so much. These
worries.
are all my questions for now. Thank you.
Awesome. No worries. All right. Last person, Nathan. I see you asked twice, dude.
Hey man, how's things?
Good, dude. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's still pretty cold while the sun's out. It's quite deceiving looking out the window.
Oh, nice. Nice and
What
snowy.
about you?
That. Yeah, hot as always here. Hot as always.
Yeah, it's well, when the sun comes around in my bedroom, it's hot through the window, but don't want to go outside. It's too cold.
Yeah, that hug in the window to get a bit of warmth.
I was actually going to post in the group about it just before I get into my questions, and I won't mention the Instagram name, but for those of you listening, I literally sold my Instagram page the other week, and this is going to get onto the question in a minute. I sold the page because I found like I was wasting so much time doing busy work like posting. And obviously, it's not producing any like revenue.
Yeah, I remember the page.
I was going to post in the group, but long story short, sold it for $5,000, and I was on the call, and the reason I'm actually sharing this experience because I used your sales tips from the course, and it really did me well, man. Like really, so thanks. I got them on the call. I was like, remember the brain deceiving you tips, and I sort of like, don't get me wrong, I wanted to sell the page, but you know, your advice, man, it really helped. So I'm really looking forward to getting on the ball rolling with my agency now, because that's just completely, my mental capacity is like bigger because I'm not worrying about all that stuff anymore. So
yeah, that's awesome to hear.
It's
Congrats
overwhelming,
on that.
man. But
congrats on that, man.
So yeah, that's gonna because obviously we're still in lockdown as well, so that money is gonna really help me like this year and with the agency. So that question really links to thanks again, man. And
of course,
the question is really more about distractions and how you sort of catch yourself from doing busy work to then being productive. And the question here really is not mindset related, but it's more like people seem to talk about Clubhouse, posting on social media, everything but doing like emails or Instagram DMs. What's your opinion on that? Because I feel like a lot of people jump on the bandwagon on this hype and stuff. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it ties in 100% with my thoughts on mindset and stuff. It's just that it's a different thing. So like people, you know, and it's almost like mindset's a little bit worse because it's so much more accepted. So people feel like they're doing work. I suppose they feel like they're doing work if they're on Clubhouse. What do they call it? Yeah, like connecting, you know, and networking. That's what I'm looking for, you know, networking. Oh my God. Anyway, they I suppose they feel like that's real work as well, but it's the same thing with the mindset stuff. Like they feel like it's real work. And I mean, it's not real work at all. Yes, you're kind of working if you like, but I mean, just look at the needle. Where's the needle going? It's going nowhere. It's going nowhere. It's not moving anywhere. So how do I deal with it? I'm so out of that now that like I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to think about it. Am I doing real work? Or I need to ensure that I do real work today because I'm just so ingrained, right? It's just what I do every single day. And I know what I need to do and I get that done. So that's me doing my real work because I'm getting done what I know needs to be done. For example, right now, I've literally just finished, there's one final week for Centaurian Agency, and then that's done. I've built it. You know what I mean? And it's because every day, every day I wake up and I build. Every day I wake up and I build and I build and I build. I'll hop on a call because it's scheduled in and that's fine. Whether it's a Centaurian Agency, the one-to-one call that I do at the moment, the hybrid offer, whether it's a sales call, whether it's a team call. That's the other daily call that I have, or whether it's a team call, like that just gets done. It's fine. But in the time, or whether it's one of these calls, right, like this. But in my days, I'm doing my work, and that's it. Unfortunately, I have no secret tip on how to make sure you're doing real work. It's just you lay out what needs to be done and you get it done. For the things like the mundane stuff, a really good way to combat you doing that is obviously outsourcing. Like, for example, now with this doesn't apply to you, but you get the idea. With my YouTube, all I do for my YouTube now is I sit down in this position or wherever else I'm going to do it, and I record it, and that's it. I then 2 days later, or 1 day later or whatever, I see it published on YouTube. Like, I've automated that entire process for myself now, so I don't do any of it. I literally sit down, hit record, end, and I don't touch it until it goes live. So then all I need to do then on the days that I record, actually tomorrow I've got an entire day of doing it. I just hit the start button, talk, end it, hit the start button, talk, end it. There's 2 videos. You know what I mean? And that's all I do.
You're a machine when it comes, like, I have to admit, man, and I think I'm really humble on that aspect. Like, I'm willing to learn from anyone of any age. And like, I truly look up to you on like how much, lack of better words, how much shit you get done. It's just crazy. Yeah. Like sales calls, it's because, like, all this other stuff.
It's because I just do it. I've got no, like, I think what the biggest issue I see is so many people, and I've seen this amongst one of my team members, and I told him, because I seen it. It's so obvious. So many people spend more time on planning what they're going to do than actually doing what they need to do. They spend all their time on planning. What's the best software to use? How should I plan this project? How should I, what's the best way to do it? What's the most efficient route to do it? What's the best and most aesthetically pleasing software I can use to plan this project or whatever it is? And the next minute, they've just spent all day planning for their day, and they never got round to actually doing their day. I don't do any of that. I've got a whiteboard sat there. You can't see it. No, you can't see it. I've got a whiteboard sat there, right? It's just
I do believe you.
Yeah, I do, guys. It's just a big whiteboard, right? And I've got a marker.
I've got one here as well, actually, man. I'll actually tell you what's on it. Well,
I can't see your screen recording, so I don't believe you.
No, I had a whiteboard. I got one from like one of the stationery shops for like about $5 in your money or whatever. And I literally put down like my critical tasks, like email outreach, and I also drawn that diagram of like, to lack of better words, I think it's like the team building and building systems feeds the client acquisition. So I've actually drawn that as like a diagram on my whiteboard.
Yeah.
And obviously like my mission for my agency, which sort of keeps me like motivated, if you like focused. I don't like motivated, but
yeah, for sure. But yeah, like I say, that's all I do. Just get it done.
A lot of these questions are sort of sparked from me watching Sam Ovens, like Remove the Weeds. And for those of you listening, or maybe yourself, I'd definitely go watch that. I think it's Remove the Weeds by Sam Ovens on YouTube. And he literally talks about how like all these things which distract you from the main thing. So in our case, it's our agency building systems, doing the main thing, outreach. And then these weeds, which he literally puts onto the plant, right? He explains like, it's like an analogy, isn't it? He like shows you each weed is like posting on social media, doing like busy work, like chores around the house, although it needs to get done, you're making 50K a month. You could literally just get someone else to do it for you.
Yeah.
And it really opened my mind because, as I said before, I got rid of my Instagram page, which I did make money from. So it was almost like some cash flow, not a lot, but I just got rid of it because I was posting twice per day, but I also had to create the content. It's like feeding a hungry dog or a hungry baby. You know what I mean? It's like you're constantly feeding this thing. And I'm like, dude, I want to focus on my agency. And that's one thing I really took from it. And obviously these calls, it's really helped.
Yeah. Like I say, everything in my personal life is taken care of. In terms of that stuff, like, you know, cooking and this and that, like, I'm not cooked. I don't think ever in my life, to be honest. It'd be the worst.
Because at the moment, I live at home at the moment. So like the income I have, obviously I do give my parents some, I help around the house. I'm not, you know, slobbing around. But like one amazing thing I figured out, which is really going to like feed my focus or, you know, propel me forward, is like I had like a chunk of money hit my bank account and I've got no sense of like I don't have to do anything really, because like everyone at the moment, they're sort of stagnating because there's a lockdown. They sort of give themselves like an easy way out. And like for me, I feel hungrier than ever. Like I literally woke up earlier today, well this week even. Some days I laid in, but then I stayed up later, and it's just like I'm pushing harder than ever, even when I've got this. Like I know it's not a lot for you, but for me it is. It's probably the most I've ever had. And it's like I feel that when I'm getting more money from like my agency and I'm learning more, sharpening the axe and all that good stuff, I feel it's really going to help me because I keep my foot on the gas and don't sort of like fall off. Is that something you find yourself? You get hungrier as you see more results, like a feedback loop sort of thing?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm still going now. Or that's why I want to get to $1 million a month, you know? Like if you didn't, like if it's for the money, I would have stopped such a long time ago. Everybody would have, you know, like dude, as soon as you hit 10K a month, maybe 15, 20K. As soon as you hit 15, 20K a month, you don't need to keep going. You just don't. Like you've got money. You can do pretty much what you want. You can get what you want whenever you want. And especially if you're doing it through a medium like we are, like online at home, like you've got the life you want. You can work from anywhere in the world. You physically can work from anywhere in the world, and you can afford to live from anywhere in the world. And you could go to like these amazing, beautiful places like Bali, Lombok. Lombok's like my favorite place on earth. You can go there and you literally live like a king, and you're making like 15, 20 grand a month. So you don't need to make any more money. But obviously, I mean, you know, going from like 500,000 a month to like $1 million a month, there is no difference. But that's what I want to do. I want to keep going and going and going. So yeah, 100%. I know exactly where you're coming from.
I think it's sort of fun. Like, don't get me wrong, like family, I love them and that, but they sort of talk to you like they think they know more than you know, and you don't even know it all yourself. It's sort of funny. But like with the agency, sometimes you hear from friends, or it could be anyone associated with yourself. They'll be like, "Oh, what if it's so easy, this and that? If they, how would they pay you, and all this sort of limited belief stuff?" And I sort of think to myself, well, yeah, that's true, but it takes time and effort to actually learn how to do it. Anyone can post a Facebook ad, but how effective and efficient it is a different story, and they obviously don't know that. And another thing, as you said, with the money side, people, they say, "Oh, if I was earning 10K per month, I wouldn't work no more." And I sort of think in the back of my mind, well, that's the reason you're not there, because if you did get there, took your foot off the gas, you're going to lose a client, you're going to lose another client, then you're back at, you know, square one again.
Square one, yeah.
So that's exactly why they're not sort of there. And I think, as you said, not focusing too much on the mindset and planning your days like all day and there's no time left, but focusing on like developing that sort of what drives you aspect. You know, once you've got 10K hitting your bank account every month, it's got to sort of evolve from just money, hasn't it? So
exactly,
for sure.
Exactly.
my other question, man, is sort of with the ROAS deals, because you said, I think in the Q&A call, you said 75% minimum of the retainer. So if I was on a sales call and pitched a performance fee, like ROAS, in other words, what ad spend would you request, or would you just say whatever
You
you're
want to have a
comfortable with?
minimum. We have a 10,000 minimum now, because if we do like 1,000 a month with a client, we get them a 3 ROAS, or no, we get them a 5 ROAS. Good ROAS. We're only charging 15% on 4,000 in that instance. It's just not. It's not worth our time. Whereas if we had 10,000, which is our minimum, then we're spending 10,000 getting the 5 ROAS on 50,000. Then we're getting 15% of 40,000. Then it gets a little bit nicer, right? So just have a minimum for yourself. It could be 3,000 when you're starting out. It could be 5,000, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Once you get to a point though, like ad spend isn't. It's never really a talking point that I have with clients, to be honest. So,
do you find that the clients who are willing to pay, like, let's say 4 or 5K for a retainer, they don't have any sort of objection to like however much ad spend you need to use?
That's what I mean.
Because obviously,
yeah, that's what I mean.
All right.
Like we don't really. It's not like a battle or anything. It's just like they usually ask more from like an inquisitive standpoint. It's like, oh, how much do you want, kind of thing. Like that's kind of how they're asking. It's not like how much do you need or how much ad spend or whatever. It's like how much do you want?
Yeah, because been going through the Q&A calls as well. On a side note on that, I've literally gone from, I think the first ever Q&A call is May the 15th. I've gone all the way up to August now, so that's so many hours worth of learning.
Jesus Christ.
I have to admit,
you're
man,
sick
I
of my
joined back
voice.
in October. I have to admit, man, like I am, as I don't want to keep repeating myself, but because of like the recent things I've done, like removing the weeds, if you like, I've literally just been so like I was literally dreaming about this last night. Like literally just the potential it has, like when you see like the potential of like where you can be, and the potential it has, like this niche alone, because everyone around me at the moment, like there's a lot of fear being inflicted, a lot of uncertainty, all that other stuff, and like at the moment I just feel like I'm in the best position ever. And it's like a year from now I just want to look back and be like, yeah. So 100%. Yeah, I'm now onto the Q&A calls and that. And the reason I asked about the ROAS deals is because obviously if they allocate $1,000 ad spend and they give you, I don't know, a 4K retainer, you've got to get a full ROAS to break even. So obviously with just the ROAS deal, you've got nothing to base that 75% off. So should I just make a minimum based on what I think's right? Or is there actually a guide you would go off?
No, off what you feel. I would say though, I would say like 3,000 minimum. But more like 5,000 to be honest.
Do you also find, this isn't a question I've written down, but just coming off that one, is when you get that amount of ad spend, do you find yourself going through it like a breeze, if you like, because you know how to like spend it efficiently and know what to, what ad budget to go with and that? Or do you find yourself some with leftover like ad spend? Is that good or is that bad, or is it just like if it happens, it happens? Like, you get
you don't want to unnecessarily spend, but if things are going well, you don't want anything left over. But like if things are going bad,
sure.
You don't want to keep spending it. Like for example, we have a minimum of 10,000, but that's only, we'll only spend that if things are going well. Like we're not gonna spend the 10,000 if the ROAS is like 0.8 or 1 or whatever. It's losing money. If we're losing money and we're trying to figure stuff out, we're not going to spend the 10,000.
So obviously when you're like testing to see what works and resonates, do you sort of use whatever's left, if you like, and then use that whatever's left over to scale? That's the whole purpose of, because 10K to me like seems like a lot unless you know what you're doing, obviously. Like
Yeah,
you
it's
do.
not really, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to scaling as well, the other thing is like the reason you'll be scaling is because you're profitable. So usually at that point, the clients will see that and they'll be happy to allocate you more budget as well.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going to ask, because like if I just said to them, like on a performance basis, I said, okay, 2K ad spend, but then like they saw the results for themselves, and you know they know we're actually like results driven. You can then say, okay, this is working. The ad sets are performing way beyond, you know, what we thought or like what they thought, because obviously they would have given you more off the bat. You could actually just ask them for more ad spend. Is that something you do, or do you just do the 10K and that's it?
I mean, you're in communication daily with the client, right? So like, it's just a matter of communicating with them, seeing where they're at, seeing what they want to do. If you know, you'll get a feel as well. You'll know the clients who want to keep pushing. Like we have clients now where it's ridiculous. Like as soon as they see just the slightest result come through, the slightest profitability, they want us to push. They want to like, here, 500 a day more. Here's 500 a day more. Here's 500. And it's ridiculous. And I'm telling them, I'm like, no, like we can get these results better, you know? I'm literally telling them like, guys, like we can get these results better. We can squeeze out more. We can have a better foundation. Then we can scale. And they're like, no. Like they don't care. They don't care about raw ads. They're just more about as soon as they see some sort of profitability, they want to push. Whereas other clients are like, yeah, 10,000. We'll do 10,000 this month, and then we'll see. Then next month they'll give us 15, and then we'll just work with that. We'll get the best results we can with the 10 or with the 15.
Yeah, because the reason I was asking that was because obviously if you just say like a small amount of ad spend, and then obviously you got the performance base, you know, the performance factor, there's no buying on that front. It just makes it a lot easier. But obviously if they're willing to give you 10K in ad spend, that sort of implies, you know, they're going to be a big client and they're going to be like worth your time. They're not going to be like checking the ads manager, like saying, oh, what's this doing here and all this stuff. Like,
yeah, that's why you want to have a minimum, because that weeds them out. Because you're going to get, like for us, you know, we get a lot of people who aren't qualified, but they see the percent only and they're like, oh yeah, that'd be amazing. And actually they're not qualified. And obviously we have a myriad of things in place to prevent them from getting to that point anyway on the call with me where I'm going through it. But yeah, like I want the real ones. I want the killers. And the way that you do that is by saying like, yeah, we're performance only, but we require at least 10,000 in monthly ad spend to kickstart.
So thanks for asking that, man. So like another question is sort of about sort of the numbers you sort of hope to aim for, like in terms of outreach. So for me, like I was doing outreach. I think something Chris Nav, I think that's how you pronounce his name, said in the call earlier. Like you have leads you've reached out before, but your emails were terrible. Like for me, when I first started, I literally copied your script, but just used different words, and like it still does, like it's like copying someone else's homework sort of thing. It's like terrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like on that front, the question is really like at the moment, because I'm only really getting the ball rolling. Obviously, I've been doing like loads of learning because I only really started SMMA when I found your YouTube channel, which was basically October. So in like 3 months, well, just over 3 months now, like I've learned so much. And I'm pushing out emails. Obviously, at this point, I haven't got any meetings. So when will I know, apart from sample size, I am basically on track to hit those numbers? Because obviously the first week of outreach, you're not probably going to get any meetings. So is it just a consistency thing? And like, should I leave it a month to see how many meetings I've got, or is that not long enough?
No, a month's okay. Obviously, being consistent.
Because obviously, if you do outreach for a week and you're like, oh, Kai said you got to get, I don't know, 3 meetings a week, and it's like, well, you got to wait for the well, this is how I see it. Obviously, why I'm asking, you got to wait for it to compound. Like for me, it's not long enough.
No, for sure. Your first, you need to give things at least a month, I would say. 3 to 4 weeks, collating the data, and making your decisions based off the data. Again, logical, data driven. Like, this is how you make your decisions. There's no emotions involved. I know I keep going back to this mindset stuff, but that's why I don't believe in it, because it's very emotionally based and whatnot, right? Same with outreach, same with running ads. It's all based off of the data. So you need to give yourself time to collate the adequate amount of data needed to make the correct decisions and what you should do and why you should do it and stuff. I would say 3 to 4 weeks. And then you can start to have a look at it. In terms of like your open, is your open rates on point, and that's when, when you go down the funnel, is your open rates on point, is your reply rate on point, this and that, right? Like, that's important stuff. And then it's going to show you by looking at that data, it's going to show you why you're not at the 2-3 meeting a week mark. And then you can make the necessary changes, necessary improvements, and try again.
Okay, perfect. So last question, just to sort of confirm, because I'm sort of like arranging like what I'm spending or what softwares I'm getting. I'm getting a new burner domain. So my question is do I create a new domain with another Google Workspace G Suite plan? So I'd get another, I think for me it's like £4.80 per month. So would I get a complete new domain, or do I create a new email through my current domain, which is Baker Beyond, which is my agency name?
No, it's new.
Do I do that?
It's new. So
okay. So what's the reason behind that? Just so I know for future reference.
So I'm going to come out with a YouTube video of this. Tomorrow I'm going to create a video of like how to use Lemlist. It'll be a very basic overview, but I want to go through burners in there.
For sure.
Because I didn't realize how much confusion there was around the subject. But basically, a burner domain, it's different to your original domain. So it's not like admin@baxconsulting.com. That's not a burner account, right? In terms of, my main one's kai@baxconsulting.com. A burner wouldn't be admin@baxconsulting.com. A burner is kai@baxconsulting.net, kai-consulting.com, kai-bax with 2 X's consulting.com, kai@baxconsulting.info, right? That's a burner. It's an entirely different domain, entirely different, but it's similar.
So it would be, so for me, I don't have a personal domain. Mine is, well, my actual main one I'm paying for my agency is www.bakerbeyond.com. So would I go through G Suite, buy another complete domain? So it would be my agency.net, which is the actual website domain, and then get an email through that one.
So it'd just be bakerbeyond.net, bakerbeyond.info, bakerbeyond with 2 Y's.com, and you just go through G Suite and you just get them, and it's like you say, it's what, £4.80 a month.
I see, yeah.
And then that's it, and then you can tap that email out, and if it goes into blacklisted, it gets hit, whatever, who cares? You just throw it away. It's not your main one. That's the point of the burner. Would
I warm that through Lem?
Yeah, you still warm it up, because otherwise it would go straight into blacklist and you're wasting your time. So you still warm it up, but then you've got the ability to send like 50 to 100 emails a day through that one email. And if it gets hit, you try and recover it. If you can't, just throw it out. That's the point of it.
Because my main domain is, well, it's been active for like about 2-3 months now, and I get I've got quite a few subscriptions through newsletters, and I get people in the group to reply and send back and forth. So I was sort of thinking of warming up another burner. Now I know how to actually do it effectively.
Yeah.
And then sending out like maybe 5 to 10 emails, like on the safe side with my main account. Or shouldn't I bother? Should I just wait another 2 weeks? But I'm just trying to be like productive, because I don't just want to wait 2 weeks and use that as an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, just do that with your burner. Don't worry about your main account. Like, yeah, I mean, you can send your emails, but I would just probably wait, warm up your new email, and over the next 2 weeks, just collate a lead list of like 1,000 leads, 500 leads. You're gonna need it.
Because at the moment, because when you put so much time into getting the leads, you don't want to like screw things up. I mean, I've got a list of over 800 leads now. So like at the moment, I've been like looking through the group, and people have suggested like change the subject line like this many times, and then see what works. And then if you're not getting many replies, look at your email body, all that other stuff. So I'm just trying to be effective and efficient with, you know, my time in terms of like the emails I'm sending and, you know, what's actually inside them as well. So
yeah, for sure. But you're gonna have to go through a testing and iteration phase, so don't be too married to each lead.
Yeah, for sure. So with the actual burner account, so should I just create it now and start sending emails, or should I be a bit more careful and like leave it a few days to let Lemwarm do its job?
Yeah, put it through Lemwarm.
So should I just do that for like a few days or 2 weeks? I don't know where I got 2 weeks from, but should I do 2 weeks or just a few days?
We did a month. We did a month warming up sequence. You don't need to do a month. You can just do 2 weeks, so it should be all right. And then just keep it going in the background whilst you send out your emails. Start with 10 a day for 2 weeks with your Lemwarm going on in the background continuously. And then after the month, so you do 2 weeks, just Lemwarm, 2 weeks, 10 emails a day with Lemwarm on. Then you go fully ramped emails with Lemwarm on in the back end. That'll be fine.
Another question on that front as well. In Lemlist, I was up quite late last night getting frustrated with Lemlist because it kept asking me for like this DNS thing. Is it something to do with, do you know, on G Suite when you set up your first email and you got to set up your is it your DNS or something?
Yeah.
Is that the same thing with Lemlist? It's asking me for my website and DNS. Is that similar?
I would assume so.
Yeah, because I did ask, I think it was Jordan in the Facebook group, and he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. So I think I'm either in no man's land or I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just reach out to Lemlist support. They're great.
Yeah, I think their website's a bit up and down at the minute because I went to because obviously I'm still on the free trial. It said something about I think their first plan's $58 per month, whereas the night before, which was obviously Wednesday night, it said $29. I was like, what? So I need to have a look into that. I don't know if it's gone up or not, but
yeah, I'm not
sure. So I know you're at like such a high level in terms of your agency and your, you know, SOPs and how you operate. It's like everything's dialed in. How many burner emails do you have at the moment?
2.
Like how many? 2. So how many emails are you sending out per day, to put perspective on that?
So we're going to get to a point where we're sending like 500 emails a week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not too much. It's like 100 emails a day. And obviously that's through 2 burners. But 2 burners have the capability to do 200 a day very easily. So that's what we'll get to.
So the reason, well, I'm not telling, well, I'm sort of just clarifying, if you like, you say yes or no if I'm right, but with the burner account, is it just, you're just being sort of like irresponsible in terms of like, you're just sending out as many as possible? Like, because obviously if you're using your main one, you don't want to blacklist it. Is that what the whole purpose of that? Or is that just, because
correct,
100 per day, that's like 5x the recommended in the program. Like you're supposed to send like 20 a day, is it? And then to 100 per email. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the point though. Like you don't care about it, you just throw it out.
So your lead sources, have you got 2 as well to match the 2? Because obviously you've got twice as much going out. What is your input like that as well, or?
Yeah, for sure. The lead gen side of it is I've got a bit all over at the moment, but the lead gen in is obviously matching the 200 a day. There's only one lead sourcer, but there's other methods that we're doing as well at the moment. So
yeah, your YouTube video gave me another method as well with that whole is it top picks or something, like the discovery on Instagram. That's something I've not even used before. And like what took me like almost 3 hours to get, I think 25 leads, now takes me like, well, I've shaved probably about 20 minutes off that. Because like when you get the IPB, it's just like bam, 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 bam. It's like so much quicker.
Exactly, yeah.
But yeah, man, it's great to talk to you. I'll hopefully catch you next week. And thank you so much again,
Likewise,
man.
man.
Like, got some
course.
success. Going to use that. And
Of course, dude. Yeah, congrats on that. Good little win.
Speak to you soon, man.
Yeah, likewise. All right. Good call tonight. 3 hours 10. We're having some heavy hitting calls recently. Last week I think was 3 hours 30. Yeah, having some heavy hitters recently. Just answer last couple questions in here. Thoughts on uploading customer lists with LTV for custom audiences? Does this perform better than just uploading a list without LTV? Yeah, most definitely. For Facebook, value based. Yeah, it can be very effective. I know we shouldn't focus on Facebook ads for our agency, but what did you use as a creative? Just curious. So we just used similar creatives as like an info product, like a normal info product. So, you know, nice shots, affluent if possible, stuff like that. And also we went actually had a bit of a different approach as well. We did a couple like graphic type stuff and whatnot. Yeah. I know. Oh no, that was the same question. All right, that's it. Cool. Well, I will upload this recording into Teachable tomorrow, and I also uploaded all of the previous 3 weeks. I think that I obviously couldn't upload because of the issue I had with Teachable. So there's I basically added like, I don't know, if maybe 10 to 15 hours worth of content over the last 3 weeks that was collated. I basically added that into the program. I'm going to add this one in as well. 3 hours, 15-minute call. So yeah, guys, as always, I hope you had a good time. I hope you found value. And I think that's about it. I'm dead tonight. Had a huge week. It's 11:15 my time. So I'm going to have a good sleep, not setting my alarm in the morning. But yeah, got a full day of content creation for the YouTube channel. And then taking Sunday off. Very, very much looking forward to it. So yeah, hope you found value as always. Throughout the week, any questions, issues, comments, thoughts, ideas, queries, anything like that, drop it in the Facebook group. Community is going strong. We just crossed 400 members, which is absolutely insane. And I would argue it's one of the best communities on earth. So get involved if you don't already. Because yeah, everybody's just got such a deep willingness to help, which is so amazing to see. So yeah, I think that's about it. I will see you next week, and I'll probably speak to you all at some point throughout the week as well.